membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody's morning is off to a great start. It's been a quick week. These 4-day weeks, sometimes
they fly.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it goes by faster. This one has. It doesn't, like Friday got here quickly.
And I could say that now because I'm here every day.
That's true. You are Monday through Friday now.
I am. It's been crazy. I'm just kind of looking at I don't know what happened in the last segment of the last show, but I'm just looking at all these Chicago Bulls fans getting mad, which I side with.
Well, it is funny. It's like you bring up MJ and LeBron, and it doesn't matter where you are in the country. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is, what year it is overall. You're going to get response to it.
Oh, yeah.
People have – that is one of those debates that everybody has a strong opinion on it.
It's evergreen. It will never die for whatever reason. I mean, when the next generation comes around and, they're talking about LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, how about it?
I don't know. But that game last night was mildly disappointing. I will say that.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for more out of that game, but I did think the Spurs were going to win. Victor Wembanyama showed up after a really tough Game 5 in Oklahoma City, and that third quarter was just, it was all Spurs. They went on, a 19-0 run at one point?
Yeah.
And ended up outscoring them 33-12 and pulling away. This has been a really back and forth series. Outside of Oklahoma City, one game 2 and 3, it's been alternating back and forth. And I think that's the way it's going to go again. I think the Thunder are going to take Game 7 at home, but I am hoping at the very least we just get a good game. Like, don't be the Cavs-Pistons game where it was over midway through the second quarter.
The Cavs quit after Game 1. And, the funniest thing about that was the Kenny Atkinson quote where he was like, well, we won the first 2 games by a metric standpoint.
Yeah,
and
they are the analytical champions.
Yes. So when is analytical Game 5 start? Does anyone know?
Analytical Game 5, I believe, will be tonight. So excited for that.
That's great.
The Cavs are going to show up to the arena and no one's going to be there.
That's great. Ben Stiller might be sitting there.
That's true. Yeah, Spike Lee. They'll be there for anything.
Tracy Morgan. You never know. I've been kind of mildly disappointed with this Western Conference Finals series as a whole. Game 1 was great. All-time game.
Yeah.
That double overtime, Wemby hits one from the freaking logo. That was a great game. And then from there on out, it's just been mildly close, but they end up being double-digit victories for whoever wins.
Yeah, it's been each team has kind of taken control of the games that they've won. Game 4 was fine, but yeah, Game 5 was kind of all OKC. Game 6 last night was all San Antonio. I do hope that at the very least, give me something like Game 1. It doesn't have to be double overtime. It doesn't have to be that type of classic, but give me a game that I want to watch from wire to wire tomorrow night instead of one where it's like, all right, well, Spurs are up 12 or the Thunder are up 15 with 8 minutes to go. We can turn this off.
You know why? Because other than baseball, this is about all we got right now.
I know.
And hockey.
Well, yeah, at the very least, it's not the way I expected it to go, but I did say I thought the conference final series weren't going to be great, and that's kind of how it played out. I expected it to be Colorado winning on the Western side, but you got a sweep in the Western Conference Finals. And then the East, I think Carolina is going to roll to a gentleman's sweep tonight, winning 4 straight after losing Game 1.
Which that's a fun final. Vegas and Carolina.
It is. A
lot of travel.
I agree with what Robbie said, though, at the end of the show. I can't remember a Stanley Cup final, at least just off the top of my head, where everybody outside of the city limits of Las Vegas is going to be rooting for Carolina. It's the entire country and Canada is going to be rooting for Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unless Montreal just pulls back this monumental 3-1 comeback and wins in 7. But I don't think that's going to happen. You're going back to Carolina. Canes are just pretty much controlling their own destiny from here on out. I think it's going to be Carolina. Honestly, I would pick Carolina to win the cup, but
me too.
I don't know. Vegas is playing some hot hockey right now. And like I always say in baseball, and
hockey,
it applies to hockey as well. It's not the best team that wins. It's the hottest. So
right.
We'll see.
You get a hot goaltender. You get a cut like Mitch Marner playing out of his mind throughout the playoffs. He's probably your Conn Smythe winner if Golden Knights are able to take home the cup. So I'm excited for both the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals, and we might get that matchup set tonight if Carolina can take care of business on home ice. I see what you're making a face at.
That is the worst take I've ever heard.
4-3-1-2. 4-3-1-2. He texts in a lot, and I believe that 4-3-1-2 is a very logical person. I like a lot of the takes that he sends into the text line. He just said that Tim Duncan is better than LeBron James.
That is the worst basketball take I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't want to get too deep into this because it does spiral, and it's just like we're in May. We're not in June where it's like you can have the LeBron MJ debate and it's just like there's nothing else to talk about. But LeBron and Michael Jordan are the two best players in NBA history. Yep. I will not hear an argument for anything else. Like we've had some people try and say Kobe's better than LeBron. No.
My dad is one of those people.
LeBron and Michael Jordan are 1 and 2. You can have an argument over who's 1 and who's 2. I can understand both sides of that. I can't understand putting anybody else in that conversation. We'll get ready for all of the texts coming in here.
Close the book. That's it.
Speaking of the NBA, I did want to touch quickly on the new tanking rules, the new lottery odds. I'm not a fan of it.
I'm not either. I'm glad you said that.
I think it is going too far in the wrong direction. I actually like the way they had it now, where being the worst team didn't give you a better odds chance of getting the first pick than being the third worst team, right? So you weren't going to have Sixers trust the process type teams as much anymore, where it's like that team is actively trying to lose. And there's tanking in the NBA, but there's tanking in every sport, right? Every sport has teams that are not trying to go win a championship. And in the NBA, I feel like the rules that they've made have made it so difficult for bad teams to become good.
Yep.
And they've made it even harder now that if you are one of the worst 3 teams, even if you're not trying to be bad, you are just a bad team, you have a worse chance of getting a impact player at the top of the draft because of these lottery odds. And now it's what, you can't have a top 5 pick in 3 straight years, and you can't have the number 1 pick in back-to-back years.
That's terrible.
So with the second apron, they're making it more difficult for you to retain the players that you do draft well. And free agency is not nearly as active as it was even like 6 or 7 years ago in the NBA. I do not like this rule change. I think that they're going to test this out and realize that it probably doesn't work the way that they want it to. And they may go back to a more, maybe it's more flat odds in the lottery, but I do think that this isn't going to last. I do not like the rule change that they made.
Well, thank you. Well, you're taking away the value of a draft lottery, and you're punishing teams for being legitimately bad. I understand throughout NBA history, and especially over the last couple of years, there are examples of teams that have gotten the number 1 pick by simply taking. You take the Dallas Mavericks when they traded over Luka and get Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, and then they just sit everyone for like the last 11 games and lose all of them.
Yeah.
Look at the Spurs. They're in the Western Conference Finals right now. They absolutely tanked for Wembanyama.
Yep.
There are examples of this. But, I mean, the Washington Wizards right now have the number 1 pick. They were legitimately a bad team. So I think you take away the value, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. They want all these teams to win as much as possible, but this is how a league works. You have good teams and you have bad teams. Look at the NFL. The NFL, I mean,
people tank in the NFL.
Yeah, it happens.
Like you cannot tell me the Arizona Cardinals are not trying to tank for a quarterback next year.
Absolutely.
Right? If you are actively starting Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew, not as just like our quarterback got injured, this guy has to play. No, that is your starting quarterback. You are not trying to win games. I would argue the same thing with the Jets. If your move to go get a quarterback in the offseason is to trade for Geno Smith, you're not trying to win football games.
I don't think this levels out the talent pool like they're hoping to. If you have had a top 5 pick last year and you're still bad and you know that you can't get it, what is the motivation to play? Like, what are you playing for?
Right.
And maybe they're trying to get people to buy in at the trade deadline, but I don't know. I think you're undoing the value of a draft, and the value of a draft is to make bad teams better.
Yes.
So I think the talent pool isn't leveling out the way you should.
And in the NBA, where one player can really change the trajectory of a franchise, I think it makes sense to have the bad teams get the best chance to get those types of players. The NBA as a product, I realize tanking does hurt their product because there are some teams that it's just like, what's the point of turning the TV on? They're going to lose by 30. But I think it hurts your product worse if you have fan bases that believe there's no chance for their team to get better. You're going to lose fans because there are going to be fans that say, we've been a 20-win team for the last 5 years, but we can't get the number one pick and get a player who changes our franchise because of these rules. I don't think this is going to work out for the NBA.
And tanking happens in every sport, like you mentioned. It happens in football all the time. Happens in hockey. I mean, look at how Connor Bedard ended up a Chicago Blackhawk.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens in baseball. Happens in every sport. But, it's most prevalent in the NBA because the NBA has a media spotlight on it with the tanking and the flopping and the lack of defense. And, the NBA, I think, is the prime example of a poorly run organization right now. So I admire that they're trying to fix it. This isn't the way to do that.
I agree. There was also news yesterday in the MLB as they start their collective bargaining negotiations that the owners have officially proposed a hard salary cap and a salary floor.
Good, but also bad.
It's good because I think that is what's best for the sport. But it's bad because it means there's probably not going to be baseball next year.
I think I read that there are currently 5 teams over the payroll right now. I'd have to look at that list, but the Braves were on there. The Dodgers are obviously on there.
The Mets were like $90 million over what the cap would be.
So you're asking,
don't the Mets have the highest payroll?
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah. The Mets were like 90 million over. I think the Dodgers are like 55 million over. But my biggest question in this negotiation would be, what do you do about deferred money?
Yep.
So like
the Dodgers,
after the 10-year contract with Shohei, have to pay Shohei Ohtani $68 million a year for the next 10 years after that. How does that count towards your salary cap? And is it like I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Like, does that count towards your salary cap? Can it be grandfathered in? Like, are these contracts that are signed pre the CBA being signed grandfathered in, and then you work on a salary cap beyond that? I don't know.
I think if you want to play baseball next season, they're going to have to be, because otherwise you're going to have to ask all these teams to
right. It's like
designate all these players for Shohei Ohtani has been designated for assignment.
Well, no, not even that. It would just be like, all right, now you have to start paying Shohei Ohtani $75 million a year to make up for it. And it's like, if you haven't planned for that, I don't know what.
Or ask him to take a pay cut. And I guarantee you most players are not going to be willing to take a pay cut. So
I am almost convinced there's not going to be baseball in 2027.
That's funny. I was listening to ESPN radio yesterday after I got off, and there's like, oh, this isn't a big deal. They always seem to figure it out. I was like, oh, this is a pretty big deal. I mean,
yeah, like it is true that most times that you have collective bargaining, usually they figure it out before a lockout or a strike happens. This is a much wider cavern, as evidenced by Bryce Harper cussing out Rob Manfred trying to come into his locker room last year. It's like there is clearly a huge divide between the players and the organizations. I do not see there being baseball played in 2027. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Coming up next, there was a big story yesterday of Texas Tech offering to buy out Abilene Christian and Texas State in order to play Texas after Steve Sarkisian said that his 2s and 3s could go undefeated playing Texas Tech's schedule. We'll get into that coming up next, which I think it is a massive win for Texas Tech, even if the game doesn't actually happen. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly with you on your Friday morning. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Today, the Nashville Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers at First Horizon Park, AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. First pitch is set for 6:35, and you can catch all of the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Family Leisure, Maple Street Biscuit Company, and Social Cantina. And get to the Sounds game today and Saturday, and keep your eyes on the sky. The Maple Street Biscuit Blaster is coming in hot. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. I just read what's on the
Say
screen,
that
Connor.
again.
The Maple Street Biscuit Blaster is coming in hot.
Oh, very fitting. Given the song that I just played.
Yeah.
I read what's on the screen, Connor.
Yeah.
6-1.
Sounds like something at a Saturday Night Live.
The Maple Street Biscuit Blaster, like, yeah, that's a name of a skit or something like that.
Well, it's like what was have you seen the ones where they're like doing the home infomercial or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like,
with
with Olivia Rodrigo
Yeah.
or whatever. That's what that sounds like.
See, I'm actually very curious. I've read that read 3 straight days now. I want to know what the Maple Street Biscuit Blaster is. Like, are they going around with like a t-shirt cannon shooting biscuits into the crowd? Because that sounds amazing.
That'd be cool. I'd be catching them with bare hands.
Hey, it's at First Horizon Park today and tomorrow. I might have to make a trip out.
Bring your glove.
That's true. Not for foul balls, for biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yesterday, Texas Tech came out and said that they were willing. At first, they said they were only willing to buy out their opponent, Texas State, correct? It's Texas Tech,
Yeah.
Texas State. Texas was going to play Abilene Christian. That they were willing to buy out their opponent to play Texas in week 1. Then they come out and say, we won't just buy out our opponent, Texas State. We'll buy out Abilene Christian too, so we can play you in week 1. And I think this is an awesome idea from Texas Tech. After, again, Steve Sarkisian made the comments about a week and a half ago that he said there's a team in the Big 12 that made the college football playoff last year. Wonder who that was. Texas Tech, who they could go undefeated playing their schedule with their 2s and 3s. That was Steve Sarkisian's words. So I think this is awesome from Texas Tech to get back at Steve Sarkisian and know that there is absolutely zero chance that this actually happens. It is a perfect all-in move from Texas Tech, knowing that Texas can't call, right? Because all those tickets are out. They got 100,000 people who are going to be coming to Austin for that game that weekend. And also, Texas plays Ohio State the next week. They want their cupcake tune-up game to start the year to get ready for Ohio State at home. So they're never going to do it, but Texas Tech can make them look weak by proposing this, knowing that the Longhorns can't say yes.
And it makes Steve Sarkisian look like such a wussy. I mean, he is not going to do it. And to be honest with you, I have 4 words for the two teams. And he's on the phone, but I would invite Parker Kelly to say them with me. Put the ball down.
Yeah. And honestly, I would love to see it because as Robbie and Rexroad were saying this morning, that week 1 schedule is atrocious this year. Usually you get a decent amount of good games week 1. Like last year, it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You had really good games, at least on paper.
Yeah.
This year, looking at week 1, I mean, you got the week 0 games.
It's Clemson LSU. That's it.
Clemson LSU is the big game. Outside of that, Miami Stanford on Friday night.
No thanks.
You've got, I mean, the fact that I'm scrolling and I cannot find a decent game. Liberty James Madison. That could be
week 1?
A good group 5 game.
Week 1's pretty light.
Week 1 is horrible.
Yeah.
Baylor Auburn. They played last year. That one's in Atlanta. Maybe not but neither of those teams are going to be good, right? It might just be a competitive game.
Auburn might be decent.
Texas spent the most money in college football this year. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Cody Campbell is calling him out. He's ready to go. Put the ball down, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I just said the 4 words while you were on the phone.
Let's do it.
You
Put
got
the ball down. Let's go.
Boise State, Oregon, Tulane, Duke.
Tulane Duke's decent.
That's not horrible.
It's the Darian Mensah Bowl without Darian Mensah.
Right. It's the
No
Darian
longer
Mensah
there.
Bowl. Yeah. And then you've got Clemson LSU at night, but literally that is it. Those are all of the decent games, except I guess you get the games like Sunday, Louisville, Ole Miss. That's here at Nissan Stadium. Wisconsin, Notre Dame. If Wisconsin wasn't horrible, maybe that would be okay. But anyway, this would be great. And I 100% agree with Robbie Rexroad that like the college football world would love this, but Texas can't do it. Right? Texas, they have too much money tied into that home game. You only get a certain amount of home games, and that ticket revenue, the concessions revenue, all of that, they can't just give that up to play this game.
No, but you know what it does? It instantly makes Texas Tech and Joey McGuire likable while making Steve Sarkisian and Texas the villain.
Right. Texas Tech proposed this, and I think Texas Tech doesn't want to play this game. Texas Tech, I think they realize that they can put this out there and look like they're being the strong, like, oh, you've put the ball down anytime, any place, we'll play you. But the only reason they did this is because they know that Texas can't, and Texas is going to look weak and look like a coward for not playing, even though it's not possible, and it wouldn't make any sense for Texas to play this game.
Play them next year. Get it going. Let's get a home and home. Actually do a 3-game series. Play one in Arlington, play one in AT&T, play one in Austin, play one in Lubbock. Let's go.
Right.
Get the series.
I want to see Texas Tech, and I think eventually Texas probably will do that, and they'll say, like, hey, we'll schedule you in the future, but we can't schedule you 3.5 months before the season starts when we're playing Ohio State the next week.
But if I'm Abilene and I'm Texas State, I'm taking the money.
Yeah, take the money and just go play each other.
Yeah, that or, play, I don't know, Helen Keller School of the Blind. I don't know, some no name that no one's ever heard of, because I'm certainly sure that there's an opponent out there that's a lot weaker than you that's looking for someone to play in week 1.
I mean, I will say Steve Sarkisian's comments, probably a little over the top, that their 2s and 3s could go undefeated, but this schedule is just like atrocious for Texas Tech.
I mean, Steve Sarkisian's been on one for a while, like with his whole
the
Ole Miss basket leaving.
Yeah,
like
he apologized for that this week.
And then I saw him last night, and he said, "Well, I hate the playoff mentality that our program is playoff or bust." I'm thinking, Sark, you coach at Texas, it should be playoff or bust. And he was saying, "Well, I would like to go to 16. I'd really love to go to 24, and I'd like to go back down to 4. I just don't like 12." I'm like, why don't you like 12? Because you didn't get in?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not getting into a 12-team playoff, you're probably not getting into a 4-team playoff. But he used himself as an example with the whole the season where they beat Alabama, and Wisconsin was undefeated. They had beaten Georgia.
Yeah.
It was, I don't understand him. He's becoming more and more unlikable as time goes on.
Well,
he's doing a lot of talk because he has a top quarterback.
Steve Sarkisian, I don't think has ever been super likable, but he's kind of playing into that villain role this offseason. I mean, the clip of him, I forget what bowl game it was, where he screamed at the staffer who told him to wait and was like, "Don't touch me. Keep your hands off me." Yeah, I think it was the Sugar Bowl. It's like, he's never really been all that likable, but he's playing into that villain role this offseason. And I think Texas Tech and Joey McGuire said, you know what, we're gonna make you look weak, because we're gonna put this out there knowing that you won't do it.
Yeah. And I don't think they could beat Texas, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think they could either. But Texas Tech also, they're playing with house money a little bit, because guess what? If Texas shocks everybody and says, yeah, put the ball down, we'll play you week 1. Here's the rest of Texas Tech's schedule. Oregon State, Houston, Sam Houston, Colorado, Arizona State, Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and TCU.
That's an 11-1 schedule right there.
If Texas Tech, they can just be like, sure, we'll get our breaks beat off by Texas in week 1, and then guess what? We're going to go 11-1. We're going to go to the playoff.
They can go 11-1 with Will Hammond. They don't have to have Brendan Sorsby.
With that schedule, yeah, I would agree with that.
They got a good defense too, so
right,
and it's better. It's going to be better than last year, I think.
They're going to be a really good team. They're probably going to be about as good as they were last year, though, where they have a good defense that's good and an offense that's good enough to win in the Big 12. But when they play in the playoff, they're not going to be able to score because they just don't have the firepower. They don't have the quarterback. 615-737-1025. Let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dustin in Hopkinsville is called in. Dustin, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. Oh, I love it when people who whine and whine and whine put themselves in their own pants and shoes and get to wear them, whether they play Texas Tech or not. They have lost dignity already, and if they don't, they lose a little more. They look like a bunch of wusses. If I'm a player, I don't want to play for start. Shut the hell up, play ball. And my thing is they need to play them, because that first game, that's a better win. If you get to the end, the last game, and you're on teetering on getting in this playoff, whether they change it to 24 or not, but we're talking right now, that's a better win. You just smack another Texas team in the face, whether they can beat you or not. And hey, if Texas Tech beats you, buddy, it's drama all the way around. It's good for football. Find a way to get it to be a home game for Texas, whatever you got to do. If I'm Sarkisian, I shut you up, okay? They have everything to lose, whether they play it or not. And if they play it and lose, buddy, they've lost even more. It's a win-win for Texas Tech. They're the ones with nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Right.
So I got another.
Go ahead.
I got one more tape before I hang up from yesterday, and it's a Titans tape. Y'all can get to this later. They were talking about Von Miller. Would you pick him up? I would pick him up for the money that he had last year on a one-year deal and probably point $500,000 more, and then I'd give all these incentives after a certain threshold of sacks. The man gets $250,000 every sack after. Do I want him to play? And if he's playing well, to sit the new guys? Yes, I do. That's great for the Titans. We're more likely to win, and you teach these young guys the Von Miller way. I have no problem with getting a proven guy, even if his hips are not as stable as they used to be. He's Von freaking Miller. He's going to teach these guys something. If he does good and makes all this money, we ain't lost anything with his incentives. And he teaches the young guys. He comes here, we get him cheap, and he does what he should do, getting older. No big deal. We ain't paid him too much.
Yeah, I like the point there, Dustin, of bringing in a veteran pass rusher. We talked about Joey Bosa with TD yesterday about whether he could be a good move. And I think I would prefer Bosa. He's 30. It might cost you a few $1 million more, but guess what? You got $65 million in cap space still. And I just think he could give you a little bit more production at his age. Von Miller's 37 years old. Like, yes, he's probably going to be cheaper than Joey Bosa, but if I had to choose between the two, I'd go with Bosa. I just don't know if either of those guys are going to want to come here. I think they're in ring chasing mode, and they're going to go places where they feel like they can do that.
I was about to tell you, here's a little insider secret. Neither of them are coming here.
Right. I mean, you look at where they signed one-year deals last year. Von Miller went to Washington, who was a game away from the Super Bowl the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa went to Buffalo, where they've been a game or two away from the Super Bowl for half a decade now. So I don't see either of them coming here.
I have a question for you on the other side.
Okay.
That we can get to.
We can get into it.
We're talking about college football and how Steve Sarkisian is playing into the villain role. So my question for you is, who are the biggest villains in college football today?
I like it. We'll get into it next. 615-737-1025. Thomas on a car phone. Let us know. The Biscuit Blaster is basically a t-shirt cannon where they launch biscuits into the stands. He says he didn't get one.
That is awesome.
I might have to get out to First Horizon Park today or tomorrow.
That is awesome. I might join you. That's so cool.
I want that. It's not even about the biscuit. It's the fact that the biscuit was fired at me with a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
It just feels like that
you don't
would
even
make
have
it
to
so
catch
much
it.
better. I want it. Yeah. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up, 125 the game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly alongside you.
Oh, this is one of the greatest scenes in cinema. Do you know what this is?
I'm sure I do, but I'm blanking on it.
Creed 2, when he's in the
The
desert.
training montage when he's getting ready to fight Drago.
Yes. I had not watched the Creed movies until about a year ago, and then I watched all of them.
They're fantastic.
I
haven't seen the third one yet.
But some may argue the greatest trilogy of all time.
It might be up. I mean,
usually the reboots of, Rocky obviously is such a beloved franchise, and I feel like when you reboot it, usually it's not going to be as good.
But it's not a reboot. It's a continuation.
Yeah, I guess, but it's like you're rebooting the universe. It's like, all right, like all the Rocky stories, and you're starting over, and usually it doesn't live up to the hype. I feel like Creed was good.
It was, I've seen the first two. I haven't seen the third one yet.
Yeah, with is it Jonathan Majors is in that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that
Kang.
one.
I think that's what I'm going to do this summer. I'm just going to watch the entire thing.
I'm going to go through Rocky. That was my plan.
Yeah.
Marathon it.
Just starting
you know
through
what?
Rocky.
I should watch all the Rockies again.
Let's do that in June. We'll have something to talk about.
That should we just do like
rank the Rocky movies
every Friday throughout summer?
Is that before or after Corey Curtis and I go through the MCU? Which one?
Yeah, we're just gonna turn this into a movie rewatch podcast for 2 months until training camp starts. Connor asked the question heading into the last break of who are the biggest villains in college sports, and Steve Sarkisian, I think, definitely deserves to be in the conversation now.
Yep,
and he's done that himself. I said to you during the break, like, if you're looking outside of the athletic offices at Louisiana State University, I can't really think of many others.
I have one that comes to mind.
Okay.
In college football, Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Lincoln Riley making the move to USC and,
it's been very whiny.
Right. I would agree with that. I think Lincoln Riley deserves to be up there. I can't think of
James Franklin.
I was going to say he's now on my side, but James Franklin would probably be in that conversation.
This is easy. Biggest villain in college sports?
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin.
Well, that's what I said. I said like the athletic offices of LSU with Kiffin, Will Wade, Kim Mulkey, like
throw in the AD Verge Osberry,
right,
throw them all in there.
Yeah. It's like you can put all of them in that conversation.
I would put Kirby Smart in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't dislike Kirby. I understand it though. Like, I think there are some things. Dabo Swinney.
Dabo.
People don't hate him as much because they're not as good anymore. But I think Dabo probably is in that conversation.
He's just annoying. I mean, Brian Kelly is not around.
That's true. Brian Kelly's just not. I mean, he's not coaching, but yes, he's definitely up there. Who's your biggest good guy in college sports that it's like he's not your coach, but you just universally liked?
Clark Lee.
Clark Lee's a good one.
I am a big Matt Campbell fan.
I like that one. Him going to Penn State though. I just don't like Penn State.
Clark Lee. I mean, maybe it's the local ties, but he's taken the underdog program
right
and just elevated that.
I agree. Clark Lee is Vanderbilt, not a national power yet. But Clark Lee, what he's done there, the way he's approached it, the way he speaks, I agree. That's a good guy. You know who came to mind immediately for me?
Todd Golden.
Yes, Todd Golden.
He's a villain.
Known good guy. Dan Lanning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyone who hates Dan Lanning. I think
Dan Lanning is like...
I'd run through a brick wall for that man.
Of the coaches at a program that is consistently successful, he's somebody that I think the entire college football world really likes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Kalen DeBoer is like I feel like a lot of people just don't really care about Kalen DeBoer.
He doesn't really have personality.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like Nick Saban. We knew his personality because we knew him as a hard ass winner. And you could have made the argument back then that he was a villain just because of how much he won. But
yeah,
I think everyone liked the personality of Nick Saban. I just don't get that vibe with Kalen DeBoer yet. And maybe if he starts winning, then we'll get that vibe. But I don't see much personality from him.
I think Saban has turned into more of a good guy just post-retirement, right? Like now everybody loves Nick Saban. I don't know if that was the feeling when he was coaching Alabama.
I mean, there's a ton of villains in basketball. Cronin.
Yeah, Mick Cronin.
Matt Painter. Todd Golden.
See, I don't hate Matt Painter. I also like Dan Hurley. People don't like Dan Hurley. Like
fan.
Dan Hurley's a villain.
Yeah, you're definitely not a Matt Painter fan. I don't mind Matt Painter. And see, here's one that will surprise you. He's not coaching anymore. The one guy on the campus at the University of Virginia that I always liked was Tony Bennett. Like,
I love Tony
as much
Bennett.
as I dislike Virginia and have grown up hating the Wahoos, I couldn't not like Tony Bennett. That's just a good guy.
All right. John Calipari, hero or villain?
He said hello to me in a hotel last year, so I'm
I can't hate John Calipari.
I can.
I like Cal.
I can't.
Cal,
and I have a reason for it, but I can't hate John Calipari.
I like Cal.
I do not.
And again, like that's definitely understandable for you.
It's
just
a personal
just
thing
like Parker not liking Matt Painter is totally understandable for him. I like both those guys.
Where would you put Josh Heupel? Hero or villain?
I like Heupel.
Hero.
Heupel as a
You're excluded from this conversation.
As a personality, I like Josh Heupel. Now, I'm not a Vols guy, obviously, but like I like Josh Heupel.
You know what?
I like Rick Barnes too.
Biggest
like
villain. I'm going back to the villain thing. Biggest villain in college sports right now. There's two of them: Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti.
Well, one of them's got to be the hero.
How about Charlie Baker? There you go.
Well, he just does. No. I'm going Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. They're playing bully ball right now.
Yeah, they are.
Well, that's what 4312 says. The NCAA in general is my biggest villain. It's true. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on that. Who are your biggest good guys, biggest villains in college sports? A good question from Connor. Also, we will update a little bit on the Diamond Sports. Says Tennessee. How about the Lady Vols yesterday getting a win out there in Oklahoma City over Texas? They move into the winner's bracket, which is just massive if you have a chance to go win a national title.
I watched every pitch.
I did have it on. I won't say that I was locked in, but I saw the what's her Elsa? What's her last name? Who hit the home run?
Of Arendor.
I'm thinking of Ella Dodge, but that's probably not it.
Tells you how much we all paid attention to. I know she hit the 3-run homer that put them up for good. They ended up winning the game over Texas. They moved to the winner's bracket. They'll face Texas Tech tomorrow. And also, regionals open today in NCAA Baseball Tournament. Kentucky, Tennessee, both get their run started. We'll talk about it coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 125 the game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly with you.
And Miss Ariana Grande.
Oh, yeah, it is.
This is prime Ariana.
See, I got to say, a lot of on these Fridays, Parker will play something. I'm like, it's one of 4 artists, and I don't exactly know which one. Ariana Grande falls in that bucket.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm here to help you through it.
I'm going to mix it up more today.
I like it. We got the Creed background music in the last one. So
yeah, a little bit of a segue from White Girl Friday. I was about to come in here and say, hey, Parker, just play country today. I'm kind of feeling it, but I don't know. I kind of like the vibe today.
Yeah, it's a Parker.
Tradition.
Parker knows how to curate a vibe.
We can't stray from tradition.
Yeah, we can.
It is a big weekend around college sports. First weekend of the NCAA Baseball Tournament. Regionals start today. And yesterday, the Women's College World Series got going in Oklahoma City. That's a big win for Tennessee. I will always say it's not impossible to lose your first game and come all the way back to make it to that championship series, but it makes it really, really difficult. And Tennessee against the 2-seed Texas, able to come through, is Elsa Morrison, who hit the 3-run home run early. They didn't even start Carlin Pickens in that game. She did come in later. This is a team in Tennessee that has a chance to get themselves into a position to win the national championship. They play Texas Tech coming up tomorrow for a chance to move on and get to that 2-0 spot, which really puts you in a good spot where you have to. Whoever gets out of that loser's bracket has to beat you twice in order to move on to the championship series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you and say I watched it because I didn't, but from what I understand, they're riding momentum right now. They're a hot team. They've got good pitching, and it sounds like their bats are starting to heat up a little bit. And like I said at the top of the show, and like I tell you every time we talk about a baseball playoff, it's not the best team. It's the hottest team. And
yep.
I think you could make the argument that the Vols are the hottest team in the nation right now in college softball.
And having an elite pitcher, which Tennessee does, makes it a whole lot easier. Softball, I loved calling softball in college because it's strikeouts and home runs. That's what decides the game. It's like if you have a great pitcher and you get a couple of big swings throughout a game, you can win. And that's what Tennessee has right now.
And you don't have to hit it nearly as far as baseball. It's 200-foot fence.
It is funny. It takes some adjustment of yesterday they were saying, oh, that ball's crushed. And it went 274 feet and was 75 miles an hour off the bat. And obviously that's hit very hard for a softball. It's a different ball, but it was funny to see that. And they're like, oh, it's crushed. I was like, Really?
I
was like, oh, I guess, yeah.
Because that's not even deep left in the majors.
Right. I mean, it's just having watched so much baseball, your brain has to rewire a little bit. On the baseball side, Tennessee is in Chapel Hill. They will take on ECU today in the 2-3 matchup of that Chapel Hill regional. And your Kentucky Batcats taking on Wake Forest in Morgantown.
Thank you for using the appropriate name there.
The Batcats?
Yes.
What's the feeling for both of you? Do you think the teams are able to get out despite not being the host?
I think for both teams, it's hinging on the pitching. Jackson Jelkin for the Cats is going to be on the mound today, and I think you could make the argument he's one of the elite pitchers in the SEC. I mean, he's 8-3, got a 3.78 ERA, 98 strikeouts on the season. So I think it's going to have to, if he's going to play the way that he's supposed to play, you need the bats to wake up. And the top of the lineup for Kentucky is kind of where your hits start to come from, and it kind of mellows off near the end. They need consistency throughout the lineup. Did they do 9 or 10 hitters?
9.
Okay. I was in majors mode, and
they do 9.
They
for
do
both.
9 too. So yep. I don't know what I'm
beyond Little League. I think they stick with 9.
Great baseball conversation for me today. You're welcome, everyone. That'll be a promo later, I'm sure.
Yeah. I guess, some teams may not use the DH if they have a pitcher who can hit, but yeah, mostly it's the same as the majors.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Parker, how are you feeling about the Volunteers in Chapel Hill? They're the 2-seed in that regional.
Tennessee's not making it out.
It's
not going to happen.
I don't think Kentucky's making it out either.
It's certainly a better chance than, having to go to Atlanta and play Georgia Tech. But
yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out, but I just do not think it's going to happen. This Tennessee team's been too up and down, and they have approximately 2.5 pitchers that can actually go. So,
yeah,
2.5.
Tennessee taking on East Carolina, UNC, VCU, the other side of the bracket. I said that might be the toughest regional out there. There are some tough ones, but I saw D1 Baseball put out their projections, and it was 3 guys, and they picked all of the regionals who was going to move on. And in that regional, the three guys picked three different teams, but none of them were Tennessee. Somebody picked VCU to get out of that region.
Attaboy.
So
I think it's funny that North Carolina and VCU are matched up again.
yeah,
That is
Yeah.
funny.
yeah.
How are you feeling about Virginia Tech
Hey,
going out to LA?
I was about to say Virginia Tech, Kentucky, and the Super Regionals in Blacksburg.
It's going to happen.
It's still on the table.
That would be in Blacksburg.
It would be Virginia Tech somehow was a 2 seed.
That is
Hokies want revenge for the
crazy.
Belk Bowl.
Yeah, I got it.
They want.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't think anybody's going to be throwing punches an hour and a half before the game.
Look, I lean into that. I'm like, well, you should
He
have caught it.
should've-
Sooner.
He
Let him
should have
fight.
been ejected. It
Should-
happened 3 minutes before the referees would have ejected
Should
him.
have caught it sooner. Then you don't have to worry about it. What a great all-time uniform matchup game that was, too.
Yeah, that one was fun.
The all maroon versus the chrome and the white.
Yeah, that was that New Year's Day, New Year's Eve?
It was during the daytime, I remember.
I
think it was
remember-
a noon kick.
Yeah, it was an early kick. I remember that. I think I was in Arizona on like a family vacation watching that game. And yeah, why am I blanking on the guy's name who threw the punch?
Lynn Bowden.
Yeah, Lynn Bowden, your quarterback /
Former
wide receiver.
Kentucky great at quarterback.
Oh, his highlight tape is up there with the likes of Tavon Austin.
Whoa.
I said up there. It is not Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin has the best
All right, I'm
highlight
glad you
reel of all
clarified
time.
that.
Yeah,
Nothing will beat
Tell 'em,
Tavon
man.
Austin's highlight reel.
No, that's that video.
We're-
With him easy.
it is one of the greatest YouTube videos ever.
Great hour, guys. We got a lot done.
We did. What a first hour of the show. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 1025, the game is your racing station. This weekend, you can catch all of the action as NASCAR comes to the Nashville Super Speedway on 1025. The game presented by City Auto and Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. Today, it is the Allegiance 200 at 6:30. Tomorrow, the Sports Illustrated Resorts 250 at 6 p.m. And Sunday, the Cracker Barrel 400 at 5 o'clock. Hour number one wrapping up. Coming up next, we're going to talk some Preds here. We are still waiting. 4 months later, after Barry Trotz announced that he was going to be stepping down as GM, the Predators still have not made a move there. Now, do they need to make a move before the draft? No. They said that was where they'd like to have a GM. But there is one name that has been making the rounds this week since Colorado got eliminated. We will talk about that coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5, The Game, second hour on this Friday. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, and Parker Kelly broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Fun first hour. We were all over the place a little bit.
That's okay. It's Friday.
It's Friday. It is. And, you know, the Titans are back on the practice field today. I'm not exactly sure when they hit the field. I believe it's probably in the next hour and a half. So we'll keep you updated if anything good comes out of there. But we haven't talked Preds all week with this GM search, and I did want to dive into it here because, again, we're getting close to 4 months since Barry Trotz announced he was stepping down.
And you decided I would be the best candidate for that of the people you have on.
I mean, we all are locked in on this GM search of what they're going to do. And I'm not asking you to know exactly what all of these candidates have done, but I keep going back to the line that Bill Haslam said and of wanting to have their line in the water first. And Sean Henry said that too. It's like, all right, well, your line's been in the water for a long time now, and you still have not found Barry Trotz's successor. And they're not on a very strict timeline here because it's not like they fired Barry Trotz and that seat is empty. Barry Trotz is still acting as the GM. They're going through the draft process. They're getting ready for free agency. So a lot of this stuff isn't a big deal in terms of the timeline, but I keep going back to that line of they wanted their line in the water first. It's like, all right, well, it doesn't really matter now. Other GM openings have come and gone already at this point. Is there somebody that they have their eyes on? And there were rumors out there that maybe they were waiting on the Hurricanes to get eliminated, but Elliot Friedman said, no, that's not the way it's going to go. This week, it's been all about current Colorado Avalanche GM Chris McFarland, who has been rumored to possibly have interest in leaving the Avalanche to come to the Nashville Predators. And they now have been eliminated. They were swept by the Golden Knights, so that door is somewhat open if the Predators get the opportunity to speak with Chris McFarland. I think this would be a good hire for Nashville. And we don't know if that's the way it's going to go. Maybe they are waiting on, is it Darren York with Colorado, with Carolina? Maybe all of the smoke and mirrors going on, that actually is the guy that they're waiting on. But if it is Chris McFarland, I think that would be a great hire for this team.
Yeah, it's a guy with a winning pedigree. I mean, obviously they just won the President's Trophy this year, which is a cursed ideology of hockey, as you see. But it's a guy that knows how to build a roster. I mean, when you have a roster of Nathan McKinnon, who is one of the better goal scorers in the NHL, Cale Makar, who's probably the best defenseman in the world right now, you've got some good offense. You bring in Mikko Rantanen, of all people, and you've got some pieces. And I think that's a guy that knows how to build a winning roster. My worry is, you mentioned the Predators have said we want to put our line in the water first, and that's fine. Sometimes you wait all day and you end up with the big fish in the end.
Right.
But I'm worried that they're too long. They're waiting for the big fish, and in waiting for the big fish, sometimes you miss out on the other prizes that are around. Sometimes you miss out on, not that I don't think Chris McFarland's the big fish. I think he would be a great hire here. But if they're waiting on Darren York in Carolina and they think that's the big fish, and then they get the let's say they get the opportunity to speak to him and there's no mutual interest there, or they don't even get the opportunity to speak to them. Are you missing out on other opportunities because of something you thought was a sure thing? That's something I'm worried about with the Predators. That's why I think this search has gone on so long.
And clearly, to keep using the fishing analogies, they have cast a wide net, right? Like they are searching under every stone trying to find the next GM. And I understand it. You want to be thorough in this process because you're hoping, right? You've had 2 GMs in your entire franchise's history. You want this guy to be around for a while. And he is stepping in at a big crossroads moment for this organization. You haven't lived up to expectations the last couple of years. You haven't been in the playoffs. You want to get back to being a prominent organization. And I think with Chris McFarland, what you get is somebody who has built up a team that was not very good into a Stanley Cup champion, into a team that was dominant in the regular season. So I think he would be a good hire for this Preds team because when I look at GMs, and this is across all of sports, there's a difference between being able to build up a team and maintain success. It takes a very special GM to be able to build a team into a contender and maintain that for a long, long time.
And I think he has.
He has. But you're also seeing, I think Avalanche fans are getting a little bit frustrated with, all right, this team has been one of the best teams, if not the best team in hockey for the last 5 years, and only have one cup to show for it. One cup is more than a lot of teams can say.
Yeah.
But the expectations continue to grow as your team stays at that level. I think Chris McFarland is somebody that you've seen build a team from one of the worst in the league to one of the best in the league. And that's what you want to see if you're bringing in somebody who has experience. All right, he's done this before. He's built a team up to be a Stanley Cup champion. I think it would be a great hire for the Predators.
My question with him is, if things are so great in Colorado right now and you are a year in and year out Stanley Cup contender, why would you leave? Why would you take what many would consider a downgrade of a job in terms of what you're going to have to do? Is he just sick of is he sick of the community? Has he felt like he's done everything he can there? I don't know. That's an internal thing for him. That's not something we can figure out. But if he is brought in here for Nashville, I think that's a great hire. Like I said, winning pedigree. It's a guy that has proven he can do a rebuild. It's just a matter of, do you feel that you have the right pieces on this roster right now to do said rebuild? Young pieces, that is.
Yeah.
Like Luke Evangelista, I think, is a piece that you want to keep around for a while.
Yeah, he took a big step forward this year.
Matt Wood is a piece you want to keep around for a while. Brady Martin, of course, you want to develop him.
You hope that he is a cornerstone of your franchise.
Right. It's a matter of, do you think as the roster is constructed right now, that's something you can work with? Because they've got some contracts that are going to hurt them for a while. I mean, you've got Forsberg locked up. You've got Yossi. You've got that big Saros contract.
Yep.
Shea, Stamkos, Marchessault. All of these contracts are things that are going to be difficult for them to get out of. Is it a matter of, does he think he can do something with this roster? And I'm not saying that they need to be competitive immediately once they hire it.
Yeah.
It could totally go the other direction. They could tear it down to the complete studs. And I think some people would be upset with that, but I think a lot of Predators fans would be okay with that because, you know, as the saying goes, you take one step back to take two steps forward.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see. I would like him to be the GM, and I would like that to happen this weekend so we have something to talk about.
Yes, we've been waiting on this, and every morning I wake up and get ready to head in to the show, and it's like, am I going to have to throw the grid out because the Preds make a hire? I would love to do that on Monday.
I would say that's probably an acceptable thing for you.
Yes, and with Chris McFarland, I think that's the type of, maybe home run hire isn't the word, but like, that is what you're looking for when Barry Trotz moves on, to get a guy like that who has proven ability and also I think can come into what is, like you said, kind of a confusing situation for the Predators. You have those long-term contracts that you're stuck with a little bit, but you also have one of the better farm systems in all of hockey. And you've got Molendyke coming up, who you expect is going to be an impact player on the blue line for you. You've got Brady Martin, who you hope can be at the very least a top 6 center. You'd love for him to be your 1 seed at some point, but I think at the very least, he's going to be on your top 2 lines.
Yeah.
You've got Igor Surin, who's lighting up the KHL, just won the KHL this past year and is probably a year away from coming to North America. So I do think that this is an attractive job because of what you have coming through the pipeline, but you also have a lot of baggage to deal with those contracts that you have. I don't think they're looking to get rid of Yossi or Forsberg. You're not getting rid of Saros, but the other guys who you signed 2 off seasons ago, I think they're replaceable, especially Marchessault.
And I feel like bringing in Chris McFarland would be someone who obviously doesn't have as much ties to the franchise as Barry Trotz. He's outside of the family.
Yeah.
But I think some of that is beneficial. I mean, look at the treatment that Ryan O'Reilly got this season. They refused to move him because they felt he was a core guy, and that's fine. But he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Yeah.
And that was the statement that Barry Trotz made that kind of peed some people off, is we're treating him as if he does, but we're all like, he doesn't. You can move him. You can get value for that. I think that's important. And, something to note as well is we've mentioned the core for Colorado versus the core for Nashville. There's a reason why Colorado is a year in and year out cup contender, and
Right.
the Preds are kind of middle of the pack. I'm not saying he's going to come in and, oh my God, Nathan McKinnon has been traded to Nashville. That's not how this works. But I'm saying it's been proven through him. Would you say Denver is probably a bigger sports market than Nashville?
Yeah.
It's been proven for him that he can take a better sports market and turn them into a cup contender. Who's not to say he could come into a smaller sports market and do the same thing?
Yeah, and I just do like with the situation the Preds are in and so many big decisions to be made, I like having somebody who's been at the wheel before and has been at the wheel for over a decade now with a good team, a team that has won a Stanley Cup before. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go to our phone lines. Dustin in Hopkinsville is called in. Dustin, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. So, first of all, the Avs didn't lose in spite of the GM. They won because of him. They have got their coach, they have got their core. I'd say more than anything, if the Preds are getting him, they're offering as much money as they can. The Avs think, well, we've got our next 10 years decided. We have our coach, probably the best in the league. We've already set this thing up, and we've got a recipe on how to win with our GM. We can let him go, and when the cards fall in 5 to 10 years, we'll figure it out. All right? Or the Preds are going after the bull. What's his name over there? The Hurricanes, York.
Yes, Darren York.
One of the two. I think if it's the Avs coach, now that they're out, you'll see a move this weekend because it's counterintuitive to discuss money moves and discuss with another team about coming to their team while you're in the playoffs. And they were destined to win another one this year. It's all because of the injuries. You can't take two of your best players on your team. One of the best, actually the best player in the NHL right now, and lose him and expect to win a cup. Yes, they probably should have won at least one game, but I mean, you took the wind out of your sails when McKinnon goes out, and then you got another guy at 60%. I think we'll see if it's the Avalanche GM. I think we'll see a move this weekend or by next week. If you don't see one by this weekend or next week, I think we're going there, or the York guy. But Nashville is a little warmer, not such high altitude.
Yeah, it's true.
We do have tornadoes, but the warmth, you can build another house, and it's not going to be cold when you build it. That's what insurance is for. I think the location has something to do with it. A lot of people are coming to Nashville. They're bringing their ways here. It gets on my nerves. I wish y'all would stop, but and our infrastructure can't handle it. But we'd like to keep our southern ways, and you bring the good stuff, and you keep your mouth shut about our good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Dustin. I do think that it might just be after a decade wants a change of scenery, and you can't blame him for that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Ryan is called in. Ryan, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Fantastic.
Doing well. Whatever happened to Brendan Shanahan? I always thought he was a good candidate for the job. Can you kind of elaborate on that? And then, me personally, I'm a big fan of Moneyball, and I really believe that Forsberg, Yossi, and UC Saros have to be on the table for off-season moves because you can't buy players. We need speed. And I know Forsberg is a goal scorer, but you could package a deal for a blockbuster deal and get some speed and get some picks going forward. So that's just me personally. I think they have to be on the table.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ryan. I'm seeing with Brendan Shanahan that he was rumored to the Preds back in March, so over 2 months ago. You never know, right? I would bet that they've talked to dozens of candidates for this, and we're talking about Chris McFarland right now. We've talked about Darren York. It could be somebody completely off the table. We've talked about, Bill Scott out of Edmonton for a while as well. So, who knows? But Chris McFarland is the hot name this week, and we'll see if anything comes to fruition over the weekend. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content, and chat with us there. We'll continue the conversation when we come back. We'll also get into the Tyler Tanner decision later this hour. Now that Tanner is back at Vanderbilt, what should the expectations be for Vanderbilt and the Vols heading towards next season? Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
Is this the actual video or just the song?
Oh, you're playing the video. Okay, I was like, I thought you were just playing the song. You guys are having more fun back there. You get to watch Tavon Austin highlights.
I can imagine it.
It's a blast back here.
That navy helmet with the all yellow. I can just imagine
And
him.
then the all gray just popped
And
up.
the all gray. Yep. The one where they pitch it to him right, and he goes cross country all the way to the end zone. Oh, it's so good.
You know, I don't like West Virginia football. They're a rival of Virginia Tech, Black Diamond Trophy. But
Are they really? I didn't know that.
yeah, they used to play every year when they were the Big East. And they brought the rivalry back a little bit, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Bring back the Big East, man.
I would love to play that rivalry every single year.
Rich Rod and James Franklin get together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
It's not going to happen, though. In fact, Virginia Tech just canceled 2 games with Maryland for 2027 and 2028 because they already play Notre Dame that year.
Because they want to play Old Dominion instead.
Maybe JMU. I'd love to play JMU.
Yeah.
You know, finally get them to shut up about 2011,
Play Liberty.
Whatever it was.
Liberty, which I'm convinced is not a real school. It's just like an athletic program.
Yeah. Yeah. That is.
Because you never hear anything about the school.
I know for a fact it is a school.
It's like
I'll leave it at that.
Brandon Bigsby and I talked about this a little bit a couple of days ago. There are certain schools, especially in March Madness, that I'm convinced just don't have campuses or not schools.
No, I've I don't
Grand
know if
Canyon.
I haven't been. Yeah, Grand Canyon.
VCU.
VCU is that one's in Richmond.
There's one big one. They're always in it. James Madison comes to mind, but I know they have a campus.
That one I have been on.
Yeah. Liberty.
I've never been to. It's in Lynchburg, but like I've driven by it before.
There's one. Oh, Long Beach State. I'm convinced is not a
Long
real
Beach
school.
State, my favorite baseball mascot of all time.
Santa Barbara's not a real school either.
UC
Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
The Banana Slugs.
They're the Gauchos, aren't they?
There's one school that is the Banana Slugs. out there.
Yeah, something like that. The Long Beach State Dirtbags is their mascot.
My favorite's Keggy. Keggy the Keg. He's literally just a beer keg. I think
For
it's
what school?
I think it's Dartmouth that has Keggy the Keg.
That's hilarious. I
An
love that.
Ivy League school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Look up Keggy the Keg. We need confirmation on this.
Keggy the Keg. It is Dartmouth. Yep.
Yeah.
Well done. No, yeah, the Long Beach State Dirtbags. That is not their like school mascot, but just the baseball team. They're the Dirtbags. VCU is not in Norfolk, 5102. It's Richmond, yes. Norfolk is ODU.
Okay.
I've been to that one. I got to watch Brent Pry lose his first game
Monarchs.
to the Monarchs.
Monarchs, baby. Monarchs have a good colorway though.
They do. Yeah, the silver and blue.
It's the two-tone blue.
Yeah, I had to watch my freshman year at Tech. Tech was like 12th in the country, had beaten Florida State and William and Mary to start the year, and then went to ODU. Starting quarterback breaks his leg in half, and you give up 49 points and lose to Old Dominion.
Kentucky basketball used to every year. There's a university right across the street. You know, it was called, they would play them in a scrimmage every year.
Yeah.
Transylvania.
Yeah, Transylvania, where the vampires are.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't even know how we got. Tavon Austin. I was like,
Yeah.
how did we get to this?
Because it's Friday and you have me on your program.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
is
what happens.
Friday. We just kind of go with the flow. We were talking Preds here, and the idea of Chris McFarland coming over from Colorado to possibly be the GM. And he is the current GM of the Avalanche. I think it would be a great hire. And I was looking through some of his first-round picks, some of the guys that he's brought in during his time. He was taken in 2015 as the general manager. His first-round pick was Mikko Rantanen, who he recently traded and got back Marty Necas, which wasn't exactly a great deal for them, but you know, Mikko Rantanen obviously played close to a decade with the Avalanche. Here are some of his other picks, though. It is funny how many of his picks are currently on the Predators.
Yeah.
2016 first-round pick, Tyson Jost,
Yeah.
who he was a waiver claim this year. 2018 third-round pick, Justus Onanen, which obviously makes sense. They traded for him from Colorado. 2020 first-round pick, Justin Barron.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there's a working relationship there between the Predators and the. I mean, look at the other side. You had Ryan Johansson go to the Avalanche, and you had, what's his name? God, this is gonna kill me.
I'm blanking too. I remember
Yakov Trenin.
Yes,
you had him go over, and this season or this, you had who'd they trade to the Avs this season?
Well, they did the last year. They did the Oninen for Wedgwood swap.
Yeah, well, Scott Wedgwood's over, and he was doing good for the most part in the regular season. So it's a working relationship there. So if you think about it that way, it makes sense. I think one question a lot of Preds fans would have is if he were to come here, does that change your draft strategy? And I don't necessarily think so, because it's the Predators scouts doing the scouting and not the Avalanche scouts.
Yeah.
And, like we said, that seat's not empty right now. It's Barry Trotz doing all the GM stuff and the scouting stuff. So I don't think it would change this year. Next year is when you would start to see some change.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we see when you make GM changes, you make front office changes. It usually is post the player acquisition period, right? So you hire Mike Borgonzi last year. Rand Carthon didn't make a whole lot of scouting changes from John Robinson.
Right.
So, but
perfect example.
That whole staff was there while Mike Borgonzi was going through the draft process last year. And then after the draft was when Mike Borgonzi started bringing in some of his own scouts, some of his own front office executives. So that's what you'd see, especially where the draft is a month from tomorrow. So that's what you'd see is it would be Barry Trotz and the Predators scouting staff. They would present all of the options and their findings to the new GM, if it's Chris McFarland, if it's Darren York, whoever it is. And yeah, maybe you'd get a different decision based on who's sitting in that chair. But the info and the intel and the options are all kind of going to be
because that's a year-long project, or maybe even beyond.
Well, right.
That.
It just makes no sense to let's say tomorrow they hire Chris McFarland. It would make no sense for them to, all right, well, the Preds scouting staff has been working for months to get ready for this offseason, the draft and free agency. We're just going to fire all those guys and bring in our own guys who have to restart on that.
Yeah.
Or are bringing in perspectives from all over the league.
It's not like he's just bringing in, we're going to take our plan we've been working on here for Colorado and bring it over to Nashville. That's not how that works.
Yeah. So I would love the Chris McFarland hire. I think, we've had the conversation about a possible president of hockey ops, GM move. Like Chris McFarland maybe would be that president of hockey ops because you'd want it to look like it's a promotion from GM of the Avalanche. Now you're the president of hockey operations. Maybe he brings in his own number 2 to be the general manager. But I think that's my favorite name I've heard so far in this search would be Chris McFarland because it's a proven guy who has had success, right? Like Tom Fitzgerald with the Devils, been a GM before.
Didn't have success.
But the success factor, it's like, all right, do you want to bring in a guy who just got fired as a GM and didn't really do much while he was there? Chris McFarland's a guy who has built a bad team into a Stanley Cup champion. I think it would be a great hire for the Preds.
It's kind of like the coaching tree or the coaching the coaching carousel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. I mean, we'll use the NFL for example. Kevin Stefanski was a good coach and was fired by the Browns and immediately got plugged in by the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
But Brian Callahan, why? Because he had success with the Browns. He went to the playoffs. Brian Callahan was a head coach for the Titans, didn't have success here, was fired, and is now the passing game coordinator for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
There are certain guys that you can plug in and they will probably have success. Chris McFarland, I think, is one of those for the Predators. But there are other guys like Tom Fitzgerald or, you go around the league and find someone that I think if they were just fired from that position or haven't been in the game for a while, they wouldn't have as much success here. It's all about names and skills and who can be plug and play as fast as possible. And I think Chris McFarland from the Avs is probably the answer for the Preds if you're looking in that aspect.
We will see. I'd love to get some news on this somewhat soon. Again, the draft is a month away. That was I don't want to say deadline, but kind of the soft deadline that they put on it at the press conference. They said they'd like to have a new GM by the draft. It's getting a little bit closer than I think everyone would have expected it to be without a decision from the Predators. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, Tyler Tanner announced late on Wednesday night that he will be returning for his junior season at Vanderbilt. The two teams in the state are now pretty loaded heading into the 2026-27 season. What should the expectations be for Mark Byington and Rick Barnes heading into the new year? We'll talk about it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
It's always Ella Langley with this guy.
And Nick Frazier's more of an Ella Langley guy.
He's worse.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a full-on Ella fella.
I can't get there. I like some of the songs.
She's good. Like I don't like all of her songs.
I don't either.
But Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up 102.5 The Game.
I have some Titans.
I was about
updates
to
for
say, yeah, Robert Saleh just got down from the podium, speaking ahead of today's Open OTA. What stood out to you? I read through some of the tweets.
Well, this is from Julian Minson. Titans head coach Robert Saleh says he has showed Anthony Hill tape of Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner, and other linebackers that Saleh has coached.
Yeah.
So you can see right there, he fits the mold of what Robert Saleh wants to do. It's a matter of, can he get him there?
Right. And that's what Mike Borgonzi said right after they drafted him was, hey, that is a prototypical Robert Saleh linebacker, and they're hoping that he can turn into one of those types of players. You know, obviously Bobby Wagner's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Fred Warner's the best linebacker in the league. High bar, but Anthony Hill stepping in possibly to be the green dot linebacker in year one. I also saw Robert Saleh said the goal is still to have preseason joint practices with all three of their preseason opponents, one per team. I mentioned it when the schedule came out that he said that they had agreed with the Panthers to have a joint practice, and then the Panthers are just not on their preseason schedule. Yeah. But he said the goal is with 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Bears to have a joint practice. Also, a couple other things said that the defensive ends will be able to flip from left to right and be able to take advantage of matchups. And Easton Freeze, who he has been tweeting about, you know, would you rather have no turnovers or no injuries for an entire season? And we talked with TD about this yesterday. I say no turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah. That would certainly help your offense, wouldn't it?
And guess what? If your quarterback gets hurt, which is the worst injury that you can have, your backup quarterback still can't turn the football over. Robert Saleh was asked about it. He said no turnovers.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's the right call.
There you go.
That's a good call.
All of our football offseason coverage is brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks. Raise a glass with Tennessee Brewworks, proud partner and official craft beer of the football offseason here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Let's talk some college basketball here. It was a big day back on Wednesday. The deadline to withdraw your name from the NBA draft. Tyler Tanner waited about until the last possible minute. It was about 8 p.m. Central Time. He had until 10:59 Central Time, but announced that he is coming back for his junior season. And I think that makes Vanderbilt one of the best teams in the SEC. Now, Florida's loaded. They're going to be up there again. Tennessee is loaded. But I think Vanderbilt deserves to be in that conversation of 2 through 5 in the SEC now that Tyler Tanner is back. And I want to ask you, Connor, like, what do you think the expectation should be for these two schools, Tennessee and Vanderbilt in basketball this year? Both have a lot of returning talent. Both had, well, I guess Tennessee doesn't have a ton of returning talent, but both loaded up in the transfer portal and should be teams that can contend not just for the SEC, but for deep runs in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think they're different conversations, but sort of the same at the same time, because I think Tennessee has a much higher bar than Vanderbilt does. I mean, Tennessee this year is Final Four or bust. I think there's no other way to put that. With the amount of money they spent, the volume of talent they brought in, where Rick Barnes is in his career in coaching, I think it is do or die time for them. And if they don't, then, you know, the next guy is going to come in and it may not be quite the same. For Vandy, I think they're more of that up-and-coming team with Mark Byington. And, you know, they lost a lot of talent from last year, too, with Tyler Nickel and Duke Miles going on. McGlockton. They're old veteran guys. They do well in the portal, too. Adding Tanner, I think, is the cherry on top for them, because I never thought that, no disrespect to him, I never thought he was NBA ready. I thought he would benefit from
size.
It's the size, and I think he can work on his outside shooting a little bit more. On the inside, he's great. I mean, we know how he is. He likes to work around the paint. But I think you're right, Jake, in that probably puts that team in that top 5 in the SEC. Florida's loaded. Arkansas is going to be really good this year. Tennessee's going to be really good.
Texas should be good.
We'll see about Kentucky. They might be okay.
Yeah, it's Momcilovic is expected to go to Kentucky. I think I saw.
There's a lot of people that were expected to go to Kentucky.
That is true.
So we'll see.
No, I agree with you. I think Tennessee, Rick Barnes this year decided to change up the strategy and say, you know what? I'm not going to overpay to keep these players here who weren't good enough to get us through that ceiling and get to the Final Four. I'm going to go out and replace those guys with players that I think can finally allow us to break through.
Well, he's at the end of the line. I mean, this is his go big or go home.
I agree.
Couple of seasons.
I think this is him saying, you know what? We've been to the Elite Eight. We've been knocking on the door for 3 straight years now. It's time to finally break through. And Tennessee, I think you're right. I think it's Final Four or bust for them. I think you have to get to the Elite Eight again, and you can't fall short. They've gotten so close. You know, Dalton Connect against Zach Edey in the Purdue game. You had a chance there. Michigan obviously ran them out of the gym in the Elite Eight this year, but I think it's Final Four or bust for Tennessee.
Well, one thing I praise Tennessee for is under the Rick Barnes era, they've usually had at least one superstar on their roster that's kind of been able to elevate them.
Yeah.
Dalton Connect, Jazz Lanier. Last year it was Nate Amen.
Yep.
So they've always had that one go-to guy. And I think in the portal this season, they did a good job of finding a couple of those.
Yeah.
How they fit into the roster, I'm not sure because we haven't seen them play yet, but I think they've gotten some capability there. So it's Final Four or bust, because if it's anything less than that, then I would classify it as a failure of a season for them.
Yeah, I mean, just with what you've done the last 3 years and the investment that you've made this offseason, you're doing it to go all in and get to a Final Four and put yourself in a spot to win a national championship.
And it cost you a lot of money.
I think that has to be the expectation. For Vanderbilt, I agree with you. I think the bar is lower, right? They came up an inch short of going to the Sweet 16 this year, but you bring back Tyler Tanner, who projects as one of the best players in the country coming back this season. He was an honorable mention All-American last year, and you brought in good players in the transfer portal. I mean, you've loaded up that backcourt with Ace Glass from Washington State. T.O. Barrett's probably going to come off the bench from Missouri. So I think this is going to be a good team. I would say Sweet 16 is the expectation.
It should be.
I think anything short of the Sweet 16 would be a disappointment for Vanderbilt this year. But I think, like, if you go to the Elite Eight, that's a great season for Mark Byington in year 3, even if you come up short of being a Final Four team. So I would say for Tennessee, I think you have to get to the Elite Eight again, and a good season is finally breaking through to the Final Four. For Vanderbilt, I would say you have to get to the Sweet 16, and a good season would be getting to the Elite Eight.
Well, it's funny for both teams. The expectation is trending upward, just on different levels. Like Vanderbilt 2 years ago with Mark Byington's first year was, all right, if we get into the tournament, that's a great season.
Yep.
They got in as a 10 seed. So that was a successful season for them. The next year, obviously this year, they get in and say, let's win a game. They beat McNeese, and we're quite literally one shot away from beating Nebraska and going to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
So I think there's positive momentum there, and I think you can classify the last 2 seasons for Vandy basketball as a success. This season, I think you're right. I think they've got to advance to the second weekend of the tournament.
Right. Having a player like Tyler Tanner and the investment that they made in the portal, I think the expectations are high, but I think that's what they'd want, right? Like, you want the expectations to be high. You want to head into the season feeling like you are one of the best teams in the country. And I think both Vanderbilt and Tennessee have put themselves towards the top of those rankings. We will see. I think those games between Vandy and Tennessee are going to be really fun this season.
They're going to be fun. I'm actually considering going to the one in Memorial. I'm not a fan of either team, but that would just
good
be
basketball.
It'd just be fun basketball.
Good basketball. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll take your thoughts on this. Andy Katz with March Madness with the NCAA put out his Power 44. Both Vandy and Tennessee in the top 10. We'll let you know where they end up when we come back and wrap up hour number 2. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 125 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Wrapping up the second hour on this Friday morning. I will say, I think I said this last week too. Maroon 5 from Joe Rexrode got too much hate when talking about them getting a Super Bowl halftime show because
This is a great album.
this whole album is great.
And then they said, let's never do that again.
Sunday Morning, Harder to Breathe, She Will Be Loved, This Love,
This love.
all good songs. And then, it was not good after that.
I mean, there
There are good songs like Never Gonna Leave This Bed is from like their second album, I think.
the Overexposed album was all right.
That what like Payphones on or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's when they started to lose. That album, I think, is when they started to lose me, and anything beyond that has.
The V album was good.
Yeah, is that is
That's with
that their second or
Sugar.
their third one?
That's might be their.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was the one with like Sugar.
I
and
liked them when I was a kid, mostly because of that album, about Songs About Jane.
That's their best by far.
Oh, of course. But yeah.
But their Super Bowl halftime show was horrible.
Yeah, well, they tried to lean too much into what they were at that point instead of what they used to be.
Yeah.
But I guess those songs, they don't like Sunday Morning doesn't exactly play for a Super Bowl halftime show.
It would for me.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I'll sing along. We're talking Tennessee and Vanderbilt basketball after the news. Tyler Tanner is coming back for his junior season. Post the NBA draft withdrawal deadline, Andy Katz with March Madness put out his Power 44. He's got Tennessee as the 5th best team in the country.
Wow.
Which I think that's
That's
about
fair.
right. He's got Florida at 1, which I don't know how you cannot have Florida at 1.
Oh, no, they're loaded.
Yes, they lost that game against Iowa in the tournament last year, but that team is stacked. Chinyulu's back, Howe's back.
They're loaded and they're
Condon's
proven.
back.
That's
Right, yeah, it's guys who won the national championship 2 years ago. Like Boogie Fland is back too, right?
Yeah. He wasn't on that national
No,
championship
right.
team.
That was Walter Clayton was there, and obviously he's been gone, but still, that Florida team is going to be loaded. Duke at number 2,
Of course.
Michigan at 3,
Yep.
Illinois 4.
Illinois is
Which
interesting.
I guess I don't know enough about what Illinois basketball is going to look like this year. Tennessee at 5, UConn 6, Michigan State 7.
Okay. So Tennessee's up there with the big boys.
And Michigan State, they're getting
Jeremy Fears.
Jeremy Fears back. I want to
Yep.
say Jeremiah Fears. That's his brother, right? Who played at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Illinois has Andre Stojakovic coming back.
Right. Yes. I forgot that he decided to come back.
It wouldn't be on his 4th school in 4 years.
And the Big Z brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Texas is at 8. Then Vanderbilt at 9.
Wow. Vandy at 9 is interesting to me because I don't know if I would put them in that top 10. I think they would probably be just on the outside looking in. That's just my opinion. But it shows you that there's a lot of national love for Vandy and what they're doing. And Tyler Tanner, I think, adds to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they made moves in the portal, like maybe not quite as big high profile moves as Tennessee did, but really good players coming in. You got Ant Brown is there, ace class. I mentioned T.O. Barrett, Bengot Dak from Colorado, who's the 7-footer. I'm hoping I pronounced that right.
Now you got it.
I'm not going to
Dak.
pronounce the Nebraska Bukelevich or
Bukagel.
Bukagel, something like
Bukagel.
that.
He's from Turkey.
Yeah, there you go. Coming over from Nebraska. So
That's a Husker right there. Nebraska ball, baby.
they got is it Sebastian Williams Adams or something from Auburn that they brought in. So Vanderbilt's got some talent, and Andy Katz has them at 9. Louisville is at 10. I know 4312 on the text line. Pleased with that.
He's about to be blocked.
Yeah, you're not gonna like 10 or 11.
Louisville killed it in
then
the portal.
Arkansas. for
Louisville
Andy Katz.
saddled up and paid big in the portal.
They don't have the money. It's gonna hurt
Well, a
them.
lot of these schools promise too much on the front end and can't pay in full.
Do you have a guess at where Kentucky is?
Outside the top 25.
Yes, they're inside the 44 that he has though.
31.
38.
Okay.
1 in front of your real favorite school, Ole Miss.
Yep. Keegan is dying on the hill that I am a diehard Ole Misser.
And Mark Pope could have just stayed at BYU. They're 33rd.
Yeah, but I don't think he would have gotten the talent.
No, I know.
DeBonsta was not coming to play for Mark.
No, he came there to play. I'm blanking on their coach's name. Who he was with the Suns before.
Kevin Young?
Kevin
Kevin
Young.
Young.
Yeah. 615-737-1025. You have any thoughts on Vanderbilt and Tennessee, which I think they're both going to be really good teams this year. And the NCAA tournament being the way that it is, it's hard to say like, oh, it's a failure if Tennessee doesn't get to the Final Four. It's a failure if Vanderbilt doesn't make the Elite Eight. But like, I think that in order for it to be like, that's a successful season for those programs, I think that's where they have to go. Now, I think a Sweet 16 would be good for Vanderbilt. They haven't been to the Sweet 16 in a long time. I forget what they were saying when it was heading into the Nebraska game. So I think it wouldn't be a failure, but I want to see Vanderbilt playing in a regional final this year. If I'm a Vanderbilt fan, and if I'm a Tennessee fan, I want to see Tennessee finally get to the Final Four. High expectations are a good thing. And I think both of these schools have done enough with what they have coming back and what they've brought in this offseason to have high expectations heading into the new season.
It's interesting because I think the line is a lot more solid for what the expectation should be for Tennessee than it is for Vanderbilt.
I would agree with that.
Like, I think most Tennessee fans, if you were to ask them what they want out of the season, it's to compete for a national championship.
Yes.
And if you want to get more specific, to break through from the Elite Eight,
get to a Final Four.
Yes. Will they be able to do it? We don't know. We haven't seen it yet, but it's a lot more of a solid requirement for Tennessee fans than it is for Vandy fans. If I were to ask a Vandy fan, what do you want to see out of this season?
Yeah,
I'd like to get to the second weekend of the tournament and see where things go from there.
I think you're right that you would get a widespread array of answers if you ask Vanderbilt fans what they would expect out of this season, because it is year 3 under Mark Byington. This is still a program that is on the rise, and you're hoping that, yes, they take another step forward, but how big that step is, I don't know if anybody can really put that into words right now.
Well, like if they win one game in the tournament and, they're not going to lose in the same way they lost last season.
Right, but losing a heartbreaker in the round of 32 again.
Would they be disappointed in that? I wouldn't if I were a Vandy fan.
I think disappointed, yes, but it's not like it's a failure of a season.
Right.
Right? And so,
like, let's say you're a top 4 seed in the SEC. And then, you make a deep run in the tournament, kind of like they did this last season.
They played for an SEC championship this year.
And then you kind of go out the same way you went out. Would you consider that in year 3 a failure? Because I wouldn't. I would consider it somewhat of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Because it feels like maybe the program hasn't taken a true step forward. You're kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't classify it as, oh my God, what a waste of a season.
Right. I don't think anybody's, heating up Mark Byington's seat if they have a similar season to what they had this year. But I do think with getting Tyler Tanner back, you have lifted those expectations of like, all right, this team is not just top 25. This team is top 15, top 10, and has a chance to make a run if they get hot at the right time.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's
an interesting dichotomy.
I'm excited for basketball season. I mean, on the men's side, of course, you got those two. I know we're still 5 months away.
This is probably the first time in my lifetime I've been more excited for a college football season than college basketball.
Really?
Just for my school specifically.
Yeah, I am excited for college football this season. I mean, I'm excited to see what Vanderbilt does in the post-Diego Pavia era. I'm excited to see what Virginia Tech does with James Franklin as the head coach.
I'm excited to see Will Stein.
Right. So I think it's going to be a good year of college sports across the board, but I am excited for basketball season. Of course, Vanderbilt and Tennessee men's basketball are going to be good. I think Vanderbilt women's basketball is going to be good again this year. Kim Caldwell in a big year at Tennessee women's basketball brought in a whole lot of transfers, all transfers.
Now that's a do or die.
So,
year.
Right. Like I think there's a whole lot of intrigue going into college basketball in the state on both sides. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We got one more hour with you on your Friday. Let's get into the NFL coming up next. Some interesting comments from Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy have been making the rounds over the last couple of days. We'll talk about that and go through some of the quarterback competitions that will unfold over the next few months around the NFL. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up on 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5, The Game, Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, broadcasting from the Busy Bee, Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hour number 3 on your Friday morning. Got lots to get into, but I want to give Connor the floor for a second.
I've been pushed. I've been pushed too far by a texter. 4312, I love you, and I appreciate you for texting. But you said something that made me mad, so I did some fact checking in the break. Louisville, the true athletics college of the state of Kentucky. Now, I did some math here. Across the 4 major collegiate sports, that would be men's basketball, football, baseball, and women's basketball. Kentucky holds a 167-108-1 record over Louisville.
Wow.
You need more specifics, I'll give them to you. 40-18 in basketball, 20-17 in football, 73-50-1 in baseball, and 34-23 in women's basketball. So they don't even trail Louisville in any series across the 4 major sports. Do I win?
Numbers don't lie.
The numbers do not lie. So
L's up, baby. Let's go.
I rest my case. We can move on.
All right. We are moving on to the NFL here. Quickly, before we talk about Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, Aaron Whitecotton, they're letting the position coaches speak over at the Titans practice facility right now. Aaron Whitecotton was asked what his coaching style is. You will never guess what he said.
Well,
Fast and violent?
He said, like a deranged raccoon.
oh, what a that's a comparison I never heard.
I did not think he led with, I probably shouldn't say this, and then said, like a deranged raccoon. So there you go.
Okay.
Paul Kaharski does not like him anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's got a thing against raccoons. He probably ran out of the room after that.
Try recent history. I just gave you all time. Don't live in the past. Numbers don't lie.
I mean, I don't know how far back you would have to go. Like, if you did the last 10 years, I don't know what it would look like, but
I can do the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste your time. This is your show, not mine.
Well, let's talk NFL here. There are a few quarterback competitions that are going to rage along throughout the summer, and one of them found the national eye the last few days. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, they are the 2 quarterbacks up there in Minnesota. McCarthy entering his 3rd year in the league, 2nd year healthy. Kyler Murray comes in to compete with him for that starting quarterback job. They were both asked at OTAs about their relationship with each other and had very different answers for how they feel about the other. Here's what they said.
Your relationship with JJ to this point?
It's been great. It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. Obviously, I feel like I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that. So it's been good.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like 2 guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room.
So that was J.J. McCarthy asked about his relationship with Kyler Murray and was just like, yeah, it's like we're in a classroom together and he's just sitting on the other side. Kyler goes into this in-depth thing of, he's been so receptive to criticism, and like we've talked, and like we're going through things. He's very coachable. JJ's like, yeah, he's like a stranger. He's on the other side, and the coaches have to coach us both. But
maturity. One's media trained and one's not.
Right. It does show you who's been in the league longer than the other. And I think it gives you a decent idea about who is going to be the starting quarterback, right? Like, I don't think J.J. McCarthy would be acting like that if he had been told, like, hey, Kyler is here and he's kind of a backup plan for us, but you're our guy, you're our starting quarterback. I don't think J.J. McCarthy has been given any of those kinds of promises, and I think it likely means that you're going to see Kyler Murray suiting up as the starting quarterback for Minnesota this year.
I mean, I was never a fan. I hated the pick when it happened. I never understood it. I always thought J.J. McCarthy was never a NFL-ready quarterback, to say. I think he was the beneficiary of playing for a loaded Michigan roster. And look, he won a national championship, and I think there was a lot of love from that. But I never understood the thought process that Minnesota was giving to that. And then he goes out last year and looks horrible for the majority of the year. So the fact that they brought in Kyler Murray at all tells me that there's question marks around him.
Yeah.
And then that comes out, and that pretty much solidifies it for me. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's going to be the starter unless Kyler Murray gets hurt, which is likely. Kyler Murray gets hurt pretty often. But I would honestly say they're not going to pick up that 5th year because this is what, year 3 for him?
Yeah, so they have to make that decision after this season.
They're not going to pick that up. They're just going to let his contract run out over the next 2 years, and then we'll see him.
Yeah, I'm with you that I never really understood it. Like, the main thing people kept saying about J.J. McCarthy was, oh, he's a winner. He wins everywhere he goes. And there is something to that, right? Of like being a guy who has been able to win games. But did they ever take into account that they weren't winning because of him?
It's a team sport.
Like, they had a great run game and an elite defense at Michigan. And that is what a Jim Harbaugh team is supposed to look like, right? And the quarterback is relied upon to make some plays. And he did. J.J. McCarthy made plays to go win that national championship. But I never viewed him as an NFL quarterback. And the fact that the Vikings took him 10th overall, I never saw it.
Well, there's a reason that GM has been fired now.
Well, and it was funny that they waited until what? Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl to fire him?
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's, how much consultation came between the GM at the time and Kevin O'Connell? Was that a GM pick and say, I'm not going to consult Kevin about it. We're just going to let him work his magic and then trust the process there. And then I don't think Kevin O'Connell likes him, first of all, but I don't know. It's always been an interesting pick to me because I never thought it would work. And I'm continuing to be proven right on that. I actually really like Kyler Murray fitting that Minnesota system because I think Kevin O'Connell, ironically, can work his magic on that. And I still have hope in Kyler Murray. I don't think he'll ever live up to being the number 1 pick that he was, but I think he can be a serviceable quarterback in this league, similar to a Jared Goff, or he's always the example that comes to mind, like Jared Goff or Jordan Love, maybe. Jordan Love might be a little bit better, but
Kyler Murray's a good football player.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback, but he's not, that's all he is, right? Like, I would say Kyler Murray is maybe even good isn't the right word. Like, among starters, he's average. I don't think he's the worst quarterback in the league, but I also don't think he's anywhere close to being one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
You're hoping that with the roster that you've put around him, that you can get back into the playoff conversation. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Jordan Addison. You've got TJ Hawkinson. The offensive line is solid, right? You hope Christian Darrisaw can stay healthy, but that offensive line has some pieces on it. The defense, I'm looking up and down the depth chart here. Again, pieces, maybe not one of the best defenses in the league, but it's one that if you get solid quarterback play with the pieces you have around Kyler on the offense, Minnesota can compete in that division. They won 9 games last year.
Yeah.
With J.J. McCarthy.
I would honestly say that's probably the best division in football right now, is that NFC North.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you.
I mean, the AFC North is always going to be competitive, but I wouldn't, make it out to be any of those 4 teams being elite.
Right. I don't think I think the Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers are all going to be good, but not great this year.
The NFC West comes to mind.
NFC West, yeah. I mean, I think the NFC West and the AFC West are both really good divisions with one team that you don't believe in, right? Yeah. Like Denver, Kansas City, LA, all playoff caliber teams. NFC West, LA, San Francisco, Seattle, playoff championship caliber teams.
And then you have Vegas and Arizona.
Vegas and Arizona are in there. But yeah, I would say those are probably the 3 best divisions in football: AFC West, NFC North.
I think that's fair. We'll see how the AFC South looks. Not that I think it's going to be the best division, but I think it's going to be competitive at least.
What was surprising last year, right? That like Houston was a good team. Jacksonville won the division. Indy, if it weren't for a Daniel Jones injury, probably would have been a playoff team. So yeah, you're right. I would say I don't think the AFC South is the worst division in football. I would say that's the NFC South. But
yeah,
I also think the AFC South is,
or the AFC East.
Yeah, but they've got Buffalo and New England. Like, yes, Miami and New York might be 2 of the worst teams in football.
Yeah. It'll be a 2-horse battle for that division.
100%. 615-737-1025. I am willing to just say now I think Kyler Murray's the starting quarterback there. Not that I had many doubts about that before those comments, but the way JJ McCarthy is acting, it makes you
Kyler
think
Murray will start for Kevin O'Connell.
Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback.
I guarantee it, actually. I guarantee
you're going to guarantee it. Lock it down.
Lock it in.
There are some other quarterback competitions going on around the league. The Browns say they're going to name their starting quarterback before training camp. And could it actually be Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback in the big 2026 up there in Cleveland? We will talk about it coming up next. Also, our Monday headlines at 11:30. We will try and predict what's going to happen this weekend. Spoiler alert, we're not very good at it. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game.
Don't make that face.
Not a fan of this Taylor
Don't make
song.
that face.
Nope.
This is a classic.
I mean, she's hit or miss, especially in this era. Like, I like some of it, but we can do better.
It's a good poll there, Parker.
Thank you. I know Chase McCabe would appreciate it.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, they are besties after all, so.
Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly with you on your Friday morning. We got a few more segments with you. We're going to try and predict what happens over the weekend coming up next. But we're looking around at some of the quarterback competitions in the NFL this summer. The one that's making the most headlines is in Minnesota. We just talked about that. Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy with very different answers on their relationship with each other, showing that JJ may be a little bit butthurt about losing his starting job after just 1 year as the starting quarterback. The other one that a lot of people are talking about is in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders entering year 2. There was some good, there was some bad in his rookie season up there. Deshaun Watson is back healthy and still being paid by the Cleveland Browns. And based on a lot of reports right now, Todd Monken is leaning towards Deshaun Watson as his starting quarterback entering training camp in July. What are your thoughts on this, Connor, of possibly a Deshaun Watson comeback tour? What's it been, 3 years since he played a full season last? Maybe more?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You pay a guy that much money and you're just going to let him sit down on the bench and watch. I'm not surprised. They're trying to get their money's worth from Deshaun Watson, and they're not going to get it because he's not very good anymore. But you don't pay a guy that contract, especially one that you can't get out of, to just sit on the bench. And maybe they're trying to get Shedeur to learn behind Deshaun Watson. And I would think that's acceptable. Not that I think Deshaun Watson is the elite quarterback he was in Houston, but he's still a veteran quarterback and is a winner. He's won, maybe not winner, but he's won meaningful games in his time in Houston. It just hasn't translated to Cleveland. It's still the worst contract in the history of professional sports, in my opinion, just because
it's up there for sure.
It's pretty up there, but I'm not surprised that they're leaning towards him in the starter's position, because it wasn't going to be Dylan Gabriel. It's not going to be who did they draft? Taylor Green.
Yeah. It was Shedeur or Deshaun.
Yeah.
And if Shedeur Sanders can't win the job this year, I have a feeling he's never going to be a starting quarterback, at least in Cleveland. Yes, he needs development, of course, but Cleveland is not going to be in position to wait around on a 5th round pick in Shedeur Sanders to develop. If they're bad this year, no matter who the quarterback is, Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, they're probably going to be looking to draft a quarterback again. And that's just the way the life cycle works of these quarterbacks in the NFL is if they didn't invest that much in you, and when I say that much, like if they didn't invest a 1st round pick in you, your shelf life is not very long. And if you don't prove that you are the guy immediately, they're going to look to replace you. Like, look at the Saints. Tyler Shuck showed enough down the stretch last year that it was like, all right, sweet, we're going to give him a chance to be the starting quarterback. But guess what? If he's not very good, like it's the same situation as Will Levis. Yeah. Will Levis got a season to prove he could be the guy. He didn't do it. They moved on. I think the same would be said for Tyler Shuck. And with Shedeur Sanders being a 5th round pick, he got a few games to prove it. And he didn't really seize the opportunity all that much. And if he can't even beat out Deshaun Watson for the starting quarterback job this year, they're going to be looking to draft a quarterback sooner rather than later.
That's Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders to you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after about 8 quarterbacks in front of him said, no, we're not going to do it.
Did we consult with Coach Prime about Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback in Cleveland?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to ask him about
that's
that.
true. Can Dion come in and put in a good word for his son?
Yeah. Just to be ignored by Cleveland.
If you can't beat out Deshaun Watson, who, I mean, I want to look at Deshaun Watson. I understand he obviously had a very strong start to his career.
He was
he was good. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that he went for so much in a trade and ended up getting paid so much money. But in his career in Cleveland, he is 9-10. With 3,300 yards in 19 games, 19 touchdowns and 12 picks. And he has not played more than 7 games in a season since 2020 and did not play at all last year.
It's still going to be him.
If he is the starting quarterback, if Shedeur Sanders cannot beat that guy out, then they have no reason to think that he's ever going to be the starting quarterback.
I just don't understand why they have so many quarterbacks on their roster to begin with. I understand taking a flyer on Taylor Green in the 7th round, right? Was that?
It might have been a little earlier. I
Maybe
think
a
it
little.
was 6th round.
It was a day 3 pick.
Yeah.
I understand taking a flyer on that because athleticism.
Yeah,
and
traits.
He's not going to, he might make the roster just out of the rookie pity card, but I don't understand why you keep Dylan Gabriel around. Maybe because you drafted him in the 3rd round.
Drafted him higher than Shedeur Sanders.
Just get rid of one of them.
I think Shedeur Sanders was a better talent than a 5th round pick. He fell because of non-football related things. But that doesn't mean that he is a franchise quarterback. And again, if you can't beat out Deshaun Watson, they're going to be looking to replace him. So those are the 2 big quarterback competitions going on this offseason. Atlanta's an interesting one. Like, you got Penix, you got Tua, the 2 lefty quarterbacks.
And Stefanski said that Tua is the most accurate quarterback he's ever seen.
Yeah, he said he was born with God-given accuracy.
He must have just watched his Alabama film or something.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tua to win that one, honestly. I don't believe in Michael Penix, especially coming off the injury.
I'm with you.
And that doesn't mean I think Tua is going to be a good quarterback. Like, I don't think the Falcons are going to be very good with him. I think it probably goes a very similar way to the last time Atlanta had a Hawaiian quarterback, Marcus Mariota, a few years ago. Like, I think they're going to be below average, and he's going to be replaced. But the Michael Penix situation, I think that ship is starting to sail with the injuries, and he just hasn't been all that good even when he's been out there.
He wasn't an NFL quarterback. I never thought he was. He was a good college quarterback.
Well, he's an NFL quarterback. I just don't think he was a top 10 pick quarterback, top 8 pick.
Oh, I'll never forget that night. I was here.
Right. We were all reacting to the J.C. Latham pick, and then that turned everybody's world upside down.
Thank you, Arthur Blank, for that moment we'll never forget. The most Atlanta pick of all time. But I don't know. Maybe he's an NFL quarterback, but he's one of those players that's always going to be remembered for his college tape and not his NFL tape. Like, what he did at Washington was spectacular.
Yeah, getting him to the national championship.
Led them to a national championship, fit that offense so well with Rome Odunze and who was the other one?
Jalen
McMillan. Yeah. He fit that offense so well. And then it just doesn't translate to the NFL.
Yep.
And I think the NFL is trending in the direction away from a quarterback of that style, a left-handed pocket passer.
Yeah.
It's the era of the running quarterback. And look, I know Cam Ward has been a topic of conversation this week about running systems. I don't think he's a running quarterback. I think he can scramble if he needs to. But Cam Ward, I think, is more agile and elusive than Michael Penix is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In terms of straight line speed, I don't know who's faster, but I think Cam Ward has the escapability that Penix maybe doesn't.
Yes. I would agree.
That quarterback competition, I mean, I'm just like, can we choose neither? Like, please, it's coughing baby versus coughing baby. For the Raiders, who do you think ends up starting there? Like, I wouldn't call this a competition. Obviously, Mendoza is the guy for the future of the Raiders. You pick him first overall, but do you think he starts week 1 or does Kirk Cousins get the ball?
Mendoza.
I think it's Mendoza too.
You take him at 1, and I understand you pay Kirk Cousins that money, but Kirk Cousins is there to mentor Mendoza. And I think he's going to do a lot of learning behind him in training camp. But once we get to actual play, and maybe we'll see him in some preseason games, I think they'll both get some snaps in the quarterback position. But you take a quarterback at number 1 overall in this era in the NFL, you start him week 1.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it'll be Mendoza. And if he doesn't start week 1, by the end of, I guess the season starts a little late this year. I was going to say by the end of September, but that's only 3 weeks. I would say by week 5, he's the starting
And Kirk Cousins was bad last year. Like, he started off really good. Primetime Kirk had 4 touchdowns that one day, I think. And then he got really bad really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's Mendoza's team. The question is just, do they give it to him from day one? I think
they should.
I would lean yes, but I'm not 100% convinced on that. 615-737-1025. Can you think of any other, like, I guess the Cardinals, is that a quarterback competition?
It's Brissett.
Well, like Brissett's holding out right now, though.
Why is he holding out?
Because he says he should get starting quarterback money because he is the starting quarterback. But I'm like,
By default.
because you are the starting quarterback doesn't make you a starting quarterback.
Yeah. Miami's interesting because I think it'll be Malik Willis, but there's some smoke around Quinn Ewers.
They paid Malik all that money. They're not going to – he's starting week 1. Now,
Yeah.
if things go bad and they start like 1-7, which very possible with that roster,
Likely.
they might go with the young guy just to see what they have. But I think I have zero questions that Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback in week 1.
Not a battle, but Geno Smith in New York is
with
interesting
Cade
to me.
Klubnik.
Yeah. Pittsburgh is interesting to me because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Right, but behind him, I guess.
But I want to see who solidifies themselves between Drew Aller and Will Howard. Because they're about to get rid of Mason Rudolph.
Right. I don't understand why they pick Drew Aller if they believe in Will Howard, which makes me think they don't believe in Will Howard. But, that's a conversation for another day.
7th round pick. I don't know why
It was a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Put some respect on national champion Will Howard.
Aller's the 3rd round pick.
Right. Like you could have gotten a 3rd round player that would have helped you this year when you have a 43-year-old quarterback. Like, that makes more sense.
I mean, you can make the same argument for the Rams. You could have gotten a player that helped you this year in the 1st round instead of Ty Simpson.
You could have gotten Mekhi Lemon, which I saw Puka Nacua was back at OTAs.
Jogging.
And, he's at least in the building. I don't know how that's going to work itself out, but obviously there are some question marks there. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We got 2 more segments. Let's make some predictions coming up next. Our Monday headlines. We got lots to look at. Baseball, hockey, basketball. We got the softball Women's College World Series. Baseball regionals have opened up. We'll get into all of it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1-2-5 the game.
I had Tate McRae pulled up, and then it's not playing.
I love our bump music is just Parker coming back on the air.
Well, you should sing. You are
Yeah.
required to provide music.
Baby, don't get greedy.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, no Tate McRae here as we get towards the end of this show. We got 30 minutes left.
He's got a seat saved for her, though. She
are
wants to
coming
drop
up.
by.
Yeah, if she does want to come by,
Well, I'd actually probably put you in the middle and put her right there just so I could gaze into her eyes.
you don't want her closer to you?
Oh, it's like picking
We'd have to have Jack Hughes in here too.
No, he could wait outside. Well, I could have him in here because I'd just pick it. There you go.
There it is.
Jack Hughes could be in here. I'd pick his brand. How's your tooth?
Yeah, Jack Hughes, American hero.
Did you ever get that puck back?
I hope he did.
They're being so petty about it. Like, get that puck to the guy who scored the game winner in overtime and probably the best Winter Olympic hockey of all time.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest moments in American Olympic hockey history. Obviously not the greatest, but one of them. As the U.S. won, I did see Canada in the Worlds blew out the U.S. 4-0.
Okay.
It's okay.
We got our one.
We'll cry into our gold medals. It is now time to make some predictions for the weekend. What do we think is going to happen in sports in our Monday headlines? I'm going to go first here.
Okay.
I don't think I'm stealing from anybody here.
It's your program. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to go first. We are going to stay right here in Nashville. NASCAR is in town this weekend over at the Nashville Super Speedway. And this isn't a hot take, I don't think, right? Because I think he's one of the favorites. But I'm going to say Denny Hamlin gets it done in the Cracker Barrel 400 on Sunday. Give me Denny. He's a Virginia native. I'll take the 11 car to victory lane.
Well, this is good because my emotional support has just walked into the room, so he gets to hear me say this. This weekend is a very important series in the sport of Major League Baseball.
Oh.
The biggest rivalry in the National League. A battle between myself and Parker Kelly I forgot about. The Cardinals and the Cubs. The Cubbies got their one. They got their win.
Got two.
They got their
two in a row. Two's a streak.
Two's a streak. It has happened before. That ain't going to happen this weekend. Cardinals are taking 2 of 3 from the Chicago Cubs. Oh, Nick Frazier says sweep. I don't think sweep. That's a bit optimistic, but I'll go 2 of 3.
You said it's in Chicago?
I think so. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's in St. Louis?
It's in Busch.
It's in Busch Stadium.
If I were a fan, I would have known that. Is that what you said?
So you're taking 2 of 3.
Yeah.
All right. I like that. Parker, what you got for your first one?
Just in spite of Connor and
you're
Nick,
just going
and,
right
and,
back at
Nick
it?
just walked in, so I'm definitely going to do it. The Cubs are sweeping the Cardinals.
Oh, wow.
Do it.
On the road.
Because did you know the Cubs are the first team to have 2 10-game win streaks and a 10-game losing streak all before 50 games?
You know what?
First team in MLB history.
I'm rescinding. Cardinals are sweeping the Cubs.
All right.
We'll do it. We'll battle it.
You guys are battling it out.
Which means it's going to be a 2 of 3.
Yeah, there's no chance that it's a sweep one way or the other now. All right, I'll go to the hardwood here. Game 7 tomorrow night, Thunder and Spurs. I'm struggling with this one because I think I want the Spurs to win. Thunder won the title last year, and I just want to see more Victor Wembanyama. But I'm going to say the Thunder take it. But I think the Spurs keep it close. I'm going to say, I think I heard Robbie Rexford said line's 3.5. I'm going to say Thunder win, but it's by less than 3.
Yeah. I'll go to the other conference game going on tonight.
Montreal and Carolina.
The Canes. I think the Canes close out the Habs tonight.
Yeah, I feel good about that one
and
too.
punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, so I guess there's a pretty good chance, because even if Carolina doesn't close it out tonight, they could close it out on Sunday. There's a pretty good chance Monday we will have our Stanley Cup Final and NBA Final matchup set.
Thank God. It feels like they have been going on for, especially the NHL.
Yeah,
it feels like it's been going on forever.
It's been a long. It's obviously the same as always, but it does feel like it's taken a while. But Knicks and Golden Knights are awaiting their opponents in the championship round, so we will see.
2 of the most nationally hated franchises.
Yeah, that is true. The city of New York and the city of Vegas are going to be rooting, and the rest of the country is going to be rooting against them. Parker, what you got for your second one?
Give me the Lady Vols to beat Texas Tech tomorrow in the Women's College World Series. They beat the defending national champs yesterday. Nidre Kennedy, I don't even know how to say it. I mean, Lady Vols are going to roll.
All right. You're taking the Lady Vols to get to 2-0, which is huge if you want to get yourself to that championship series.
I like how the Vols fans are more bought into the softball than the baseball now.
How is both the Vols and Batcats are playing right now? How are the Vols doing?
It's 0-0, top of the third.
Okay. All right. A little
All
bit
right.
of a pitcher duel to start that one.
Well, I would like
Cats are down 1-0.
I would like to say buttholes are tight here, but A, it's early in the game, and B, I honestly care.
Connor's
a lot.
deodorant has stopped working, and it's very early in the game.
Yeah, you're sweating through your shirt
Well,
over there.
I like college baseball. The majors are just superior.
And
to
it's
me.
also like for Kentucky, they were the third to last team into the field. Like
they're not going to do anything.
if they can get out of the regional, it'd be a miracle.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So I've always been. That's the one professional league I like more than college is the MLB. I've always been an MLB guy because I love the Cardinals. So
I think that's pretty fair.
that's the one.
That's pretty fair.
And it doesn't help that coverage of college baseball is pretty terrible nationally. And
it's gotten better.
It's gotten better.
But yes, yeah.
Thankfully to ESPN.
We don't have to get into this, but I would still take NFL over college football.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fair. It's
where I stand on this.
It's
one.
Again, it's a regional thing, right? Like I was born in a city and a town that cares more about pro sports than college sports, and I still love college sports.
Even in Virginia.
Yeah, so my family were big Virginia Tech fans, so like I grew up like caring about college football a lot, but just when you were sitting down at school, like at lunch, talking to your friends, it was always about the NFL. It was never about college.
That's fine. That's how it was in elementary school, to be honest with you, because I think the NFL appeals more to kids than college does, just because there's not as much that goes into the games. And, it helps when you grow up around an NFL franchise. Like,
that's true.
It was always the Titans at the lunch table. And
Right.
then, it was always the Grizzlies, I guess, when the NBA was decent. The Predators were always a topic.
Yeah.
And then we would get into, well, you're not in school for summer, but
yeah, no, I think it's like down here, people live and die for their college team.
Yeah.
And they love their pro team
because it's regional.
For me, it was people live and die by their pro teams, love their college team.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's
That's
fine.
Here's what I love about dudes is they pick one baseball team as a child and ride it out for the rest of their life. That's why I would love for Nashville to have a baseball team here. I will not sacrifice my fandom of the college.
We talked about that with TD yesterday. Is like that would be an issue with Nashville getting a baseball team. I think eventually, yes, you would get people to buy into it. And I think there would be fans here in Nashville who would abandon their old fandom, but it's just so splintered here. Like,
this is what I tell people. There's 4 major fan bases in Nashville.
Right.
Braves, Cards, Cubs, Reds.
Yeah.
Those are the 4. And then you'll have a few stragglers like TD and Willie are Mets guys, and you're a Tigers guy.
Me and Joe, Tigers.
You, Joe, and D-Mace. You're the 3.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, bonus Monday headline. Tigers get swept by the White Sox.
What a downfall. That would be an all-time moment if you get swept by the White Sox.
They just lost a series at home to the Angels, who before that series were the worst team in the AL. Now there is a new champion at the bottom of the standings.
What happened? How did it get so bad so fast?
The easiest answer is injuries. But there's more to it than that. Like also everybody outside of Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal, and Dylan Dingler has reverted to the mean.
Country artist Riley Green?
Riley Green with an extra E at the end.
I know, yeah.
Kevin McGonigal's good, though.
Yeah, the future is still bright for the Tigers. They got farm system coming up. But I thought this year was going to be a year they could contend. But Scooble getting hurt kind of sent that down the drain.
He gets traded?
Yes. He needs to come back, needs to have a couple of good starts, and then
can't wait to see him in Dodger blue.
Ship him off to the highest bidder. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We got one more segment on the show. We will wrap up after this. Last call for phones. Again, 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly, next man up. 125 the game.
Another guy that had a major fall off. He started off really good and then kind of fell off.
Why am I blanking on who this is?
He sings his name every song.
Oh, Jason Derulo.
There you go.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Nute, Parker Kelly with you. Finishing up what's been a fun Friday show. Chase and Big Joe are coming up at noon. Couple of texts I wanted to hit on before we wrap up. New York Doug has texted. And you know what? I know it's New York Doug. I need to add him as a contact here.
Is he? Yeah, I see.
So New York Doug says there are only the Yankees in baseball. So I don't know exactly what that means, but great. I think New York Doug needs to maybe worry more about the closed door team meetings that are going on at the Giants facility right now with his savior, Jackson Dart. Let's see. 3337 says, letting Corey Levin go for even more question marks is the worst offseason move we made, and I hate it. I know what Ben Jones did for this team. Why, other than that, don't want to be that good? Might have been speak to text there. But Corey Levin, like, there are a lot of people who I think are overhyping Corey Levin as a player. We got multiple texts, not just from 3337 about this yesterday. Like, Corey Levin is a fine backup interior offensive lineman. I don't love that Austin Slopeman is probably starting at center for this team, but I think Austin Slopeman might be a better player than Corey Levin.
I would agree.
At the very least, it's comparable. So letting Corey Levin walk doesn't bother me that much. If it was Corey Levin and Pat Coogan or Austin Slopeman and Pat Coogan, none of that moves the needle for me that much. Even Austin Slopeman and Corey Levin, like, it doesn't move the needle for me that much.
Yeah.
Corey Levin, sure, he was a fine backup. If they were going to make a move on the offensive line, I would have rather have them signed a high-quality center, which Corey Levin has not been. He's been a guy who's been on and off the practice squad most of his career.
Yeah, I think Corey Levin, the only thing he really has over Slopeman is versatility, just because I think he can play more positions than the center. I mean, you saw him at guard at some points last season. So I think versatility is the only thing that separates him from me. But I agree with you, Jake, that between those two, if you were to ask me which one I had, it's a pick 'em. It's a toss-up. If you were to told me, yeah, you're going to have Corey Levin and Pat Coogan, I'd be like, great. I still don't feel good about that center position.
I think it's just like you overrate guys in your building, right? Like, because you're watching them every day. And for Corey Levin, yes, he came in when Lloyd Cushenberry got hurt and was good. And the run game took a step forward. And I think you got to give Corey Levin credit for that. But that doesn't make him a starting quality center in this league. Like,
remember NWI?
That is exactly who I was about to bring up, is Nick Westbrook-Akine. Everybody was like, and including me, I thought it would have been fine to bring him back last year, but it was like, oh, he scored 9 touchdowns last year. Bring him back. That doesn't change what he's been throughout his entire career. And you saw what he did with the Dolphins last year. He had like 80 yards receiving.
No, I didn't see what he did with the Dolphins last year.
You didn't see much. I'll say this though, and no one had any problem with letting this guy walk. And look what's happened.
Malik Willis.
Same team. Don't you really wish you had Aaron Brewer right now?
Oh my God. Where's Andre Dillard when I need him?
He was on the Niners for a second there, wasn't he? As a backup? I don't know.
Yeah, because remember they brought in him and Petit Frere on the same day.
Yes, at the exact same time. No, Aaron Brewer, I agreed with all of the criticism of Aaron Brewer when he was here. I mean, he was not very good. He was too small. But it's funny, he was up for, was it Protector of the Year? Is their new offensive line award that they have. He was one of the 5 finalists for that last year. Again, hindsight's 2020, and like I agree that you needed to let him go, but
it's the common theme that the Tennessee Titans have in their franchise history. They suck here, and then you let them walk, and they do something good.
Yeah. Yeah, center is a position that I am concerned about. And 3337 says, we know what Levin is. I don't think he's a starter, but what if Slopeman sucks? Yeah, that's the risk that Mike Borgonzi and this front office staff have taken. Coogan. Yeah, you better hope Pat Coogan can be a solution there.
Yeah, but what if Levin sucked? Yeah, we can play the same game.
Well, right, like Corey Levin, he's been a guy who's been dropped and cut and put on practice squads. Like if he was a starting center in the NFL, someone would have signed him to be a starting center.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened. And the same thing could be said for Sloatman. The Titans have signed him to be their starting center, and I'm not very confident in it. I'm not defending the moves they made, but Corey Levin isn't the answer. If they could have made a move this offseason at center, I wouldn't have had it be Corey Levin. I would have had it be Tyler Fortner, or is it Cade or Cooper Mays who was out there?
Cade Mays.
Cade Mays.
Yeah.
Or Dylan Parham. Go get me one of those guys who has played center and has been a starting center in the NFL before, rather than Corey Levin, who's been a decent Band-Aid when you've needed it, but has never been a starting caliber player.
Well, if I had it my way, Lloyd Cushenberry would still be on the team. But
I don't know.
yeah.
I said this with Corey Curtis on Wednesday. I had no problem with cutting Lloyd Cushenberry, but when you do that, have a plan of what you're going to do to replace him. And if this was the plan, it's not a very good one, I don't think.
I don't think he was elite, especially last year. He had some moments where he was really bad, but it's usually the year after the year of the Achilles injury. So
apparently
maybe he could have bounced.
Shoulder was the issue.
Oh, really?
That's what he had, shoulder surgery, and I guess they didn't like the way it showed up on the physical. I think what you find out about players after you cut them loose is what are other teams willing to do. Lloyd Cushenberry got paid like $1.2 million by the Bills this year.
Yeah.
So I think it shows you that he was not viewed highly by the league.
I'm laughing at Gunner. I'm sorry. He says, as a member of BBN, Connor should know better than being a Cardinal fan of any kind. Come on, bro. I will say this. My love of the Cardinals started before my love of Kentucky. So my first ever sporting event was a Memphis Redbirds game. My grandfather was a scout for the St. Louis Cardinals. So I am tied in.
Connor's got all the family connections.
Yeah, I do. I'm just like that. I have all the family connections here. Ask Nick Frazier who his gym teacher was.
Yes, yeah. I do not know that story.
Ask Chase McCabe who one of his mom's friends is.
It's your mom?
My mother.
Oh, wow. Man, the Nute family is everywhere.
So I am a Nepo hire. It's the only reason I'm here.
Big weekend of sports coming up. Right now, Tennessee, Kentucky baseball. They are playing their first game of the regional. Kentucky down 1-0. Is it still 0-0 in there, Tennessee and ECU? Yes. It is. So big games there. Tennessee softball tomorrow. Game 7, San Antonio and OKC. I'm taking OKC, but I don't feel good about it.
I do. Home environments, for some reason, play a factor in the NBA.
I know, but it's just game 7.
It's just game 7.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like game 7 is just, you just never know what's going to happen. I'm taking the Thunder because outside of games 1 and 3, the home team has been able to defend their home court. Home teams are 4-2, and we've seen it go back and forth. The teams that have lost have responded well throughout this series. So I'm going with the Thunder, but Wembanyama is just such a wild card that it's like you're going to have a chance.
I just want a good game. I don't really care. I just want a good game. That's all I want.
Montreal, Carolina tonight. Carolina can close it out, head on to the Stanley Cup Finals where they would take on the Vegas Golden Knights. So excited for that as
and also,
well.
The Party Animals and the Loco Beach Coconuts are playing tonight in what is not a real sport.
You also have NASCAR here in Nashville, and you can listen into all the coverage here on 102.5 The Game all weekend long. Connor, always great having you in.
Always a blast, man.
It's been a fun show today. We have gotten off on some tangents, but we've had some fun with it as well. Again, excited for the rest of the weekend here. Weather looks like it's going to be better than last weekend, at least.
I think it's raining right now, apparently.
Is it?
I haven't looked outside, but my phone says so.
It's basically rained for a week and a half straight. So hope everybody has a fun and safe weekend. We will be back on Monday to react to everything that goes on this weekend and much more. But Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. Keep it tuned right here on 102.5 The Game.